Hey. How's everybody doing? Metaphysical Mama, what is up? Thank you for coming to hang out. If you're visiting for your first time, or if you are revisiting, I super appreciate you coming to hang out with me. Take these off till I have to actually read words. So happy Fairy Friday! You could please like, subscribe, ding the little bell so you can get notified, just so we can all put our energy in. It's like all in, and then, right, then the ceremony is about to begin. So thank you again for coming and hanging out. You know, it's February 24th, I believe. Might be the 25th, actually. It's Friday, whatever. um, So I'm just going to stick to the fairy topics 111 presently. I got Willow of the Wisps and the Element of Air pulled up or opened in our fairy, this book I opened to look in today. And so I'm going to read a little about that. And meanwhile, it's interesting. Yesterday I was reading a lot about the poem, The Fairy Queen. If you're familiar. Um, I actually wasn't familiar with this specific poem. It's and so I can share that too at the end of the video. I used to collect dolls for my daughters, like special like Barbie dolls, specific Barbie dolls, or what were those other dolls called? I used to order them from like the Danbury Mint, Madame something. But I mean, I liked to like, I have daughters. I tried to get them a few things here and there like that were like special, Um, those are special things to me when I was little, specific, certain dolls and what have you, like the fairy realm, consciousness, creations created through consciousness and the imagination, right? With love. And it's super deep to get into, right? Metaphysics, astrophysics, the different dimensions and realms, when we speak to, right? When we're talking normal, most of us have forgotten, what that is. I think a lot of people are starting to remember now, though. More people are starting to, awaken, um, into, right, who we've always been naturally before. It's just we've been so busy with our human lives being, right, good sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, moms, dads, workers, students, um, living life, right? Human is, right, Eve is mother of the living. So while we've been living life, we forget about, right, spirit, a lot of time, the divine God, like godly divine parts, right? We're like so busy, it's like, gotta do this, we're so busy worrying about what we have to get done. um right, so our emotions and our mental faculties, right, railroad and run over, right, and the imagination, heaven, what sounds like a good idea in our head, right, or what may seem great at the time, right, fantasy, like, ooh, that might be nice, an idea, which they're great, right. 412 behind me, Snoopy. Should I turn it down? Got a commercial. 420. So funny, if you've recognized too, right, since we're in Fairy Realm Friday, and just the synchronicities, like if you're thinking things, or you just said something and then you hear it on the radio or TV, or something pops up on your phone, it's like, what? Right, it's showing because we're in the time when those stars are aligned and aligning, so that more frequencies are able to come in more clearly. So we're tapping into more, right, vibrations of ourselves, right, which is how we get into the multi-dimensional, um, realms of frequencies and, you know, the different planes and all that we are, everything, all vibration, right? So thank you for tuning in with me. And again, if you could please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already, YouTubers. I appreciate. And let's get into what the fairy realm has to share with us today. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. My whole life, speaking of fairy realm, fairy, it's like I always felt like I don't belong here. And I've always had this cough since I was little. It's like I was pulled out of the wrong another dimension and brought here and like, ooh, if you can relate, what the f am I doing here, right? 606. So yeah. Because I know I cough a lot. It's not just because I am such a huge representative of, you know, marijuana, another fairy plant. Wow. Star system plant. Yeah, since I was little, even before I ever was around smoke. I mean, well, my parents smoked when I was little, but anyhow, a lot of misperceptions about smoking too, but we're in the air element, which is also smoking actually too, right? So yeah. And don't forget too, a lot of people have gotten like the where did smoking come from? It's vapor. So it's just another form of my friend. Yeah. So good to see you. Oh, that's so cool. That's a person I haven't seen in a long time. Um, shaman energy there. That the ancient shaman. Um, cool as I'm doing the fairy Friiiiiyay. So yeah, you know, speaking of smoking, right? Shaman energy. It's transmutation because everything gets right? Everything's here. So it's what we're doing with the energy that we've been provided with since we've been here. So that's a lot of what, you know, trials, tribulations, the end of times, end of days, end of the world, etc. It's just end of a certain time period and age that we're transitioning into, um, right? Age of Aquarius, which is a lot more, well, extraterrestrial, ultra terrestrial, star system DNA, more from the outer realms of the asteroid belt coming in, not just, right? Which scientist was the one that said we all circle the sun? Was it Ptolemy? Or I have to relook it up. Plato? I'm not sure. Plato, Ptolemy, uh, Isaac Newton, might have been Newton even. I forget which one. I have to look it up. You know, so again, but those are those that are studying what's already here, right? Like, oh, discovering something. So, but that doesn't, there's many interpretations to that. So I'm not going to get into that right now, but right, a lot of things that we've been told or given information on up until this point in time are just a little, you know, it's like, right, it's like, you know, we're only, and it's not like, oh, we're being so lied to, just to like, I got to do another whole video about the great matrix and what have you. Matrix is belief system. And then there is a whole nother side that's going on as far as like the holographic, etc. The parallel, right? They see different than we do, right? Go out, right? So there's a difference in the right. So as we're blending these together, right, and a lot, right, all these different things are coming into tune, into frequency, into right relevancy, into right 5G, right, we're all going up to 5G, fifth generation, just like right, it's 5 o'clock right on the nose right now. So funny and cool. So right, and fairy, I'm still in the fairy realm here. So right, that's airwaves and what has all elementals, air, fire, right, earth, water. Um, so the fairy and the elementals, right? It's there are different consciousnesses of right, and then different parts of all of our imaginations that have right birth and grown and expanded and are now being birthed or have been birthed throughout space and time, that right, because it's everything is vibration. 1111. And I just want to share my little cutie duty here. She hangs out in my window next to my plants. From one of my other friends. I think I've shared her before, but share her again. Him, her, ferret, know him, her, but so difficult with the words that we use as language, right? To not offend when we're just trying to communicate. And sometimes the language and the words that we've been given are offensive to one another, right? And we don't mean to be offensive to one another due to our ignorance, right? And it's not really like ignorance is we're so stupid. It's just like we need to be more willing to communicate with one another and be more open-minded to listen to one another's interpretations when the times are right for us to engage in such natures, right? It's like because otherwise we're just assuming we all think the same, and that which we absolutely don't, perceive the same, feel the same. It's like, oh, blah, when we're talking, it's like, right, oh, da 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 da, but we're not all necessarily on the same page. We haven't all had the same experiences. I met a beautiful, awesome, amazing, wonderful woman this morning. Her name was Candace, and super cool, right? Everything happens for a reason. And we had a really cool conversation. She had a room full of birds. She had all these birds. She introduced me to her birds, and one of the name was Morgana, more fairy realm, right? King Arthur, fairy queen, more. So see how everything kind of falls into this synchronistical place eventually when we're just there for it. And sometimes our mind and our thoughts are on something else, right? Because my intention was to grab a quick cup of coffee and I needed to speak to, right? That's a whole nother thing as far as like, this is also collective, right? It's Friiiiiyay. And we just had the big portal 222, 2022, right? So there's many things that are coming into play and right coming online. So there's a lot going on right now that we're all feeling, and there's a lot of fear, a lot of right displacement, a lot of right say unfairness. But we can look at something as unfair or like, but then it's our job to go through these things and clear the congestion, untie the knots. This is again shamanism, right? Right, fairies. We're all little fairies doing our work. We got to untangle all the little things that, right, like all the right, because as we're all right, gods, goddesses, kings, queens, humans, messes, right? Right, animalistic, crazy, um, you know, timid, afraid. How many different things are we all, right? We're a mixture of so many things at different times, right? Depending on the situation and the environment that we're within, right? What's going on emotionally and mentally in our and presently in our lives, right? And then what's also going on in our environment, like right in our outer, right, in our household, or wherever we, right, the residence that we stay, live, etc., right? Where we work, the other people, right, the relationships that we have with ourselves and with our loved ones, with our coworkers, with our right community, with etc., who on a daily people that we go to, right? You go to the gym, or how have you always behaved? How have you always felt around others? You know, where do you have a hard time communicating? Where do you feel at ease? Right? 505. You know, are you able to feel, sorry, my nose is so like itchy. Are you able to feel comfortable and are you adaptable in many different environments? And I can say I'm very adaptable and I'm very easy to get along with. And but then at the same time, right, the duality of that is that I can gain great anxiety and fear and talk myself out of anything before I even have made a move besides in my own head, right? So I can get stuck, over analysis paralysis, like my friend says, right? I have right on my wall, do not get over analysis paralysis, right? I heard a great thing the other day by a motivational woman or inspirational, about, and she had a story similar because we all do. We've all had hard times, and she was a mom, and she had a hard time in her life at one time where she was doing so much work and what have you, and then like she had kind of like a midlife crisis, and she, I think I had mine like way back when, or I just like had one since I was born. So I've become like, right, I'm like a pro veteran at like Dark Night of the Soul, or when you think like, right, like the people that you love or that love you, or and they do, right? But when we have expectation, or just right, there's a lot of different stuff. And again, like there's the difference between, right, like the realms of like, again, I don't put no blame. This is just more about like, this is principalities, and like because I've matured and gone through these things for many years, right? Again, like say counseling or being like um you know uh growing up not in my household that birthed me, right? My biological family, I didn't always live with them, like at an early age I was like, kind of told that stuff was right wrong with me, or that like I did stuff wrong when I never really did anything so like bad. I never did anything bad, you know. But I was right. So a lot of people that have these the videos out on like gaslighting and gang stalking, and I did like all this other, right, a lot of deep occult shit. That's right. It's all part of like which branches we all came from during the human experience, the human experiment, right? So as we're awakening, because there's many things that we're going to look at like, oh my gosh, but then as we again start to, right, pull apart the dough and untwist the knots and start to look at things with more of a broad perspective, right? We don't just keep seeing with the surface. And so for me, I never really have. So I guess for this for me is exciting, and it's like, yay, everybody's gonna awaken. For me, I'm like, yay. Well, when this really start, like I've always been connected to the spirit realm, fairy realm, etc. since I was little. I was talking with gnomes and like playing in the Pachysandra, and like I remember always speaking with, I've always been connected, like I came here connected, right? So that's natural to me, until we start getting told like to grow up or not be, right, or what's wrong with us, or how come then we start to, right, we start to shut those things off little by little. And if you watch movies or stuff, they call that, right, your shine, your talent, right, your, right, whatever that is that we hold, right, people either want to take it from us or shut it up or harm us, because then once they can't use it, it's like being raped, or being held, right? Once they can't use you anymore for it, then they're like, yeah, which we all say is a narcissist empath relationship in like human psychological, psychiatric terms and what have you, right? And emotional disorders and mental disorders and what have you. So, right, there's different terms and labels and different, again, branches and vibrations and how people want to label it and call it. But the truth of the matter is, there are parts of us elementally, come back to fairy realm, right? Part of creation that's not been understood by man, right? By human, right? Fairy, right? Fairies, um, and right, fairies, angels, demons, or like the right, oh, demon, but yeah, demon is more the right, demon. Because there's a difference between like what's natural of the earth when human has right created imbalance in the system, then like a demonic say entity is then born from nature because man has caused imbalance. So right, understand it wasn't it didn't just 2121. None of us were right, like it's like yeah, like say born say evil. But there's other side where too everything has to have its equal or equal or opposite, right? So there always is going to be the opposite that started it, right? So now we are whether you started it the way negative, now you're making your way right to be able to see the said light and the positive, or you came from say light and now you're witnessing the right dark side, right? Which is also different in the shadow realm. I don't know why they're playing so many commercials as far as I saw it. So that shit got on here live. That's mad fucking annoying. I was like, Matrix knows that shit. It does that shit on purpose. Testing, testing. Okay, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah. I was listening to this same thing for like a long time before I hopped on here, and it was like not one effing ad. And then it's like there was like at least 4 since I've been on here in 20 minutes now. Like what the anyway. Algorithms. So yeah, also I'm gonna get into that too, just for a hot second there. Cause yeah, we're gonna like have fun this weekend. And whenever you get on here, right? Yo, make some waves with all the love in the world, but make some fucking waves. The only waves that have been happening are static and stagnation and worry and fear and all this bull, right? Everybody's been wearing masks. It's like we've been speaking of these things since like way before that V word came out. We knew this false narrative was going to get pushed. We didn't know how exactly, but we had awareness that like it's so it's like we were already like right like hey like the why hey, but now we're past that point of right kind of no return. So many decided to I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's make a deal. So like the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, it's like you were given a chance to, but if you decide to go against your own grain, it doesn't matter what another man says. This is why it says like in the Bible or in any other way, it's like doesn't matter what another man says. There's going to be narratives put out. There's going to be others that say that they're right of in my name, right? They say there's going to be others that say they're coming in the name of, right? So those that are and have been getting and doing all this stuff, that's why a lot of us there you can tell the difference because we're like, we're not on here collecting money. We ain't on here falsifying and da 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 da. We come out and so there's the difference. And I'm not saying there's some people that are like, yeah, if you're making money on this stuff and whatever, you know who you are. That's fine. There's some they're good. Okay. Some of us, right? It's like 515. Again, what's real, what's true? Why are you here? What's your purpose? So it may look one way to somebody on the outside. As long as you know you're doing what you're like being guided to do, it's like, right, then you're being true to thyself. Right. And then best we can, we're starting to awaken to our ignorance. So we want to keep trying to do our best to treat others how we'd like to be treated as we're going through the experience of the other side of the mirror, or the shadow and the light side of self, right? You kind of go back and forth, or through the different colors of the rainbow, right? Different degrees and volumes, right? And only a third of our energy is ever in our physical vessel, our physical body at once. That's why Gilgamesh is 2/3 God, 1/3 man, right? So, or, human in as far, right? Human plane are like one anatomy, biologically, right? Are you having a boy or a girl? It's either XY or XX. I can't believe it's another commercial. All right, home plane. Um, that's frustrating as hell, YouTube. Anyhow, I never heard such a thing. Wasn't even another 3 minutes yet right now. All right, anyway. um, so human plane, right? Yeah, chromosomes is like, right, boy or girl, XY or XX. Now, if Eve is also, here's just another also way to look at it too, because but wait, and everybody forgets about the first X, like I almost just did. I didn't forget, but I was about to go somewhere else when, and I can tend to do that often. I jump, if you can't tell, because I still haven't read the air element of Faerie. Uh, I can jump quite a lot because I'm constantly, right, cosmic surfing. So it's like as I'm speaking, I'm looking at the right. We're multitaskers. Aren't we all? So some of our right synapses in our brains is like right. We're all different animal breeds walking around in right physical human vessels, but we're not all the same. That's very dangerous to keep treating everyone like we're all the same. We don't all wear the same size shoe. We don't all have nothing the same. Every individual has a specific individual blueprint from the gods, which is your natal chart. And only you can have that specific vibration, that specific print. The only one. You're the only one. Even if you were a twin, even if you were it doesn't matter because you're still not, you still have a different, where you made your entrance into this plane separate from another. So it's still, and like, right, you're getting into the soul and all that, etc. It's deep. There's a lot that makes us who we are. And as we just, it's like it's never ending discovery. I got asked today, like, what am I going to do as a job? I'm going to need to find a job right? I'm always working. So when, again, this is also about gaining knowledge of, right, becoming a sovereign, but sovereign in the sense of 519. Recognizing, again, it's like, it's very dangerous. They put it, it'd be dangerous to just give somebody the keys to a car without them having knowledge of ever driving, or being too, being not big enough so that they can't see, right, and be able to drive, right? So there's many different things. So so many things come into play, right? Sorry. As far as, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. Um, Perspective, twins, no two are alike. Becoming a sovereign, right? Yeah. Yeah. Having more clarity, right? Because again, it's like if you have awareness, say like legalese system and what have you too. In the legal system, there's mariner's law, there's the law of the land, there's common law, and then there's the law of, is it statutes? I have it written down again. I don't always have the right effing word, but so when we're made to believe something is one way, but then there's something else going on, right? Or it's like again, when one being throws out a story and says, "Oh, they were talking, they said blah blah blah," and they're like, "What?" And then they go, or have somebody else go to the other people and say they said, or right, or now they just think they said that. So the person that started the rumor, the gossip, the naysaying, the dis-ease, the virus. Yeah, I said it. When someone starts talking shit and making things up in order to see if there's going to be a reaction, or because they think that that's funny, or because that makes them feel better because they're sick. They're sick because they're immature, codependent, alcoholic humans or beings of some nature that still have not gone through the process of learning how to handle their emotional body and their mental faculties. And they're in the disease of desire and lust, and they're run by the solar plexus, which is the gut, which is a completely different system than the physical body, and their imagination, which is the crown chakra. So the crown chakra and the solar plexus, the two suns, and the other one that can't see, like my two suns running around with the daughter, or I don't know what else, right? That they call Eve 3303. Looky, looky. Fairies. See, I was gonna read, and like they're all messing with me. We got spirits, we got fairies, we got shamans, we got I don't know how many realms are right. We got the star view. All right, they're yelling. They're like, right. So okay, we're channeling completely now. So just bear with me. We got okay. Wait, we're gonna do some star systems. Andromeda, I hear you. Okay, Andromedans, Arcturians, Lyrans, Vega. Wow, that's deep. Mars. Sounds like you're saying Acadia, but arcade. Something about arcade. Acadia, but yeah, wait, arcade. What? They're saying Arnie's Arcade. That was a place back in the day. Wait, what? Westport, Stepford, Westport, WW. All right, hold on. They're throwing us stuff here. Oh, get ready for the ride. WW, what? Stepford wives. They keep saying like Stepford, Westford, West WW. Well, they're saying because WW ups and then right WWW and then metropolitans driving by and an M. So WW and MOSC, South Carolina. Absolutely. Right, so channeling, right? Nothing, like a lot of things don't make sense, right? When it's coming in, it's like as I'm looking outside right now, the flags are blowing, there's cars driving by, there's cars parked in the parking lot. I'm trying to make a video talking to you, constant, focusing on Faerie Friday, which is what I made the video for, just so we're all clear that I'm all on like one, like, yeah, I can bring it right back. So, but when we're channeling, right, it's allowing that information to come in. So it's a lot of different stuff. And don't forget, like, spirits can't really like talk, speaks, they can't spell. So it's like you have to be willing to, right? It's like you're kind of right, you're kind of driving and not quite sure where you're at, but you are, right? It's like, all right, I'm in Tampa. So you're the one driving the Vimana at, right in the say astral plane, allowing the information from the higher all around to come in. So while we're connecting to that, right, is again, that's why it's like it's not my will, thy will be done, in the manner of I'm just here, like, right, like a neutral. So I'm just allowing the information to come through me, right? Like if I'm outside, like the wind's blowing, I can't, right? Like I could put a warm coat on where I could try to stay warm, but it's windy and breezy out. So I'm not going to avoid the wind. I can't avoid the wind. I can take cover in the wind and try to stay warm or take shelter as long as I'm not, right? Which is a whole nother thing that I do need to make a video about, because I know like housing, landlords, and this has gone on for a long time, right? Mothers, families being separated, and it's been very hidden and not very brought out into the open. How many, things like we can get into sexual abuse, molestation, addiction. People just want to feed people a pill or tell them to what, like what's going on right now. Oh, just go get and then what? And then, oh, maybe another. Oh, and then maybe, but there's another. And then, well, hold on. So wait, there's so much misinformation. And again, only in the spectrum of you have to know what's okay for you. But if you want your DNA to upgrade and you want to evolve into the next stage of evolution as a being, it's important that you listen to, right? Listen to your heart. You have to listen to your own compass, right? It's like, right, what one's dream may be, or what might mean something to someone, right? Like Joseph and his dreams, or interpretation of dreams, right? And the whole story about, right? Oh, tell me who's gonna be, right? The jealousy, the envy, the anger of the next board or whatever's gonna take over. That really means us birthing that little double self that's been running around like a human, and now we're coming into this next stage of evolution. So when they try to harm others, they've done nothing but harm themselves, and they're only doing a disservice to themselves and everybody else that they've now harmed. However, again, there's already like there. It's like, again, that I don't have like that's not, I don't, right, whatever has been, right, there's karma. Whatever you do, period, comes back to you tenfold minimum. This is physics. This is law of the universe and divine law, universal law. There's laws of the universe. There's universal law and divine law. So it's like, it doesn't matter what y'all want to keep saying and by, putting on paper and trying to like cover everybody's mouth and make the other, right, and bury us under channels, right, that of other misinformation. Make sure that we're the needle in the haystack. our needle in the haystack is way louder. Our silence is way louder, 4004, than silence can be a motherfucking killer, you know? Doesn't that hurt way more? Like if somebody that you care about or someone, right, is just gives you, it's like you disappointed them. It's like when I was little, my grandmother, and I, as you see, I got like I'm very like da 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 whatever and do 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 do. I'm very respectful. I'm respectful where I need to be respectful. Like I said, when I was younger, I was never bad or like I never was rude. I never was disrespectful to like teachers or like authority or like people elder ever, never, or other races or other like, and we're all one race, but it was as far as like how other people, right, there's other, I never looked at anybody as like different, like as far as if anything, I'm just like, how come we look a little different? Like it's, I'm interested, if anything. I'm not like, you know, like I've never ever been that way. So, and it, you know, unfortunately, it's like, yeah, we're how we've all, right, this world, the vibration we're coming out of. Mariner, a truck Mariner is driving by. I was just speaking of Mariner's law and law. And the world we've lived in and the vibration that we're coming out of, the age, right, that we're coming out of, right, we're changing pole stars, and etc. This is the, right, the procession of equinox, right, wobbledy wobbledy wop wobble wobble. The earth is like shifting like this constantly, right? It's like kind of, so it's like this little, right, little on the pole. Or if you watch physics too, like with the two balls, if you have a big ball and a little ball, and if you do the ball, the the larger one, no matter what, it stays still. Like when that one, when the other one, it'll knock it, but that one, when it comes back, it stays still. It doesn't even, it becomes right in a. So that's why I say what people doing things that are like all these other extras and those that are doing black magic and or whatever. I'm only using that term because that's like the term that's always used. So don't like right get all on me, please. All right, just people using energy in a manipulative fashion for their own selfish desires. Okay, we'll just break it down. Out of their own, right? So out of jealous. So when people are using to do that triple carboni shit or like smile in your face, but they have a different intention, or right, like we've all been aware what it's like, I'm sure at one point or another to be cheated on, right? So, or something of that nature. So when you think, right, you're in some kind of trustworthy relationship, but the person that you're in a relationship with is doing who knows what, you know, who knows? I mean, it's like things. Something it's like things I've never. I didn't even know where. Right. Like I didn't even have like. Yeah. So and anyway. So right there. But so there's lots of stuff. And what can be shocking to us on one level is normal to another, and what could be normal to us could be shocking, right, to another, right? Like I know I'm very like weird and like could be very shocking, right? 4414 to others. So, and just because of my energy though, because like just to be real clear, I never done no damn fucking videos and put any damn thing out there. I no offense against any of you that have done stuff like if I've done things privately in my own relationships and others have like taken things and done something with those things. Yeah, you know, that's a whole 4444 different goddamn fucking thing. And I never ever was like, yeah, let's do like like, yeah. Nope. I am very aware for some reason, because like throughout tarot land and all the other spiritual realms and all this other stuff, right? Like that many of us are going through being gang stalked, having our identity stolen, having our most private moments used in some manner that we're not even aware of. We just hear about it through like right connecting how I am with you right now. And because we have like some kind of feeling like that's like we know something's going on, but we're not like it's like right. So when you have that like it's like some's right, you know, when you get that instinct, it's a little more than a gut instinct. First you get a gut instinct, and then it's like you feel it in your heart, and it's like you know, it's not, you know, I'm a creep. I'm a winner. It's a weird one though. ORYL is the name of the band. Or anyhow. So yeah, you know. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice I'm not around. I want you to notice I'm not around. I wish I was special. So really, anybody that isn't nice to just doesn't feel good. I feel like that. I don't take it to the levels that right. So, but again, that again, there's lots of right. Also, like a lot of us have been like say moms and what have you for so long. Do we know anything else besides moms and family and being cheated on and being told lots of things that are going to happen that don't happen? So then we also have to play dad and mom and have a job and also play right like tutor and teacher and chef and right you have animals, you also have to play vet, and you also have to like you also have to do grocery shopping and right laundry, so you're also a maid and right and a nurse, so you're a mother, a father, a nurse, right, a maid, a cook, a chef, right? Is like how many how long? Sorry, I love you, men. And this isn't just about biological men or anything, right? Because again, it's like, well, just has a shoe fits, wear it type of thing. I'm just right, throw chant, right, and right, putting things out there, perspectives. And we can go through as many as we all like. There's a whole shit ton of them, and I have. If you have suggestions, please leave comments because I'll do a show. We can, you know, I'd love to have guests on here. We could do shows and really start to bring out topics that are relevant to us all, that we've really experienced, you know, that we're all experiencing on so many levels that we can, that need to be talked about. I'm real sarcastic on here and I may talk, you know, speak like real far out there. However, like when we have a topic or we have something to talk about, or when we have like stuff like feelings and like stuff to something to actually like go through and like, right, I will absolutely take that time and space and energy to focus on such natures because that's what we're here for. That's what's so important. And so, this dude, Eddie, this guy outside, he just was walking. He lives here too. He just was walking. He looked like he was eating an ice cream sandwich, and it's windy out and stuff. But he just was chilling, and he just did this as he was walking. I kid you not. I was like, he was just walking, and then that was like, if you saw my face, that's how I was like, that was really cool. All right. Anyhow. So no, truly though, yeah, getting back to staying on subject, like I was just saying, yeah, super important. Um, you know, like again, we all need to feel loved, appreciated, acknowledged, respected, honored, Okay, emotional, spiritual breakdowns, right? Communication breakdown. And then we adopt mental and emotional dis-ease due to, right, either being treated a certain man in a certain manner consistently in a pattern, right? That's what's formed us, etc. So nobody's necessarily bad. Listen, everybody does the best they can. It's like saying everybody's parents are so bad. You know, do our parents suck? Super ego is driving by. Do our parents suck? Sometimes. I'm a parent too. Do I suck as a parent? Absolutely. Absolutely sometimes, right? Don't we all like, yeah, but am I also an amazing parent? Motherfucking bet your fucking ass. Yeah. It's like, what makes a good parent? Unconditional love, allowing your child to be who they are, right? As you learn who they are, as they're learning who they are, as you're learning who you are, right? As an individual, and then who you are as a parent with them, and then still like not losing yourself as an individual while being a parent, right? Is very difficult. So that's something else, right? So, like, then, right, giving yourself permission, lily.com. Giving yourself permission, Lilith energy, Lily, right? Giving yourself permission to then also be who you are on an independent level. Because if you lose yourself to a husband, a relationship, a job, to being a mother or a father, right? Um, Whatever it is that you originally started or you did, because right, and then it's like you don't want, and then people can start to feel resentful, right? Whether it's right because I've never felt like I love being a mom. If anything, I'm very upset that I'm been separated from my children. But at the same time, throughout the time that we've been physically separated, I'm guided the whole time that right, it's like time ain't nothing but a thing. Time is fluid and we're immortal spiritual light beings. So, right, it takes a village. And so, my whole family and who we all are as a soul family and a tribe, it takes all of us. And I'm so grateful for, right, not only the experiences I've had, because while I can look back at growing up and I could be like, my life was so hard. And I had, you know, how mean my father was. And my mom is right, passive aggressive and like, right. So, and I can also be, right, I have both of them plus my own individual self of who I am. And that's just on a biological level, right? So, anyhow, but just to stay on that topic, right? So, that my whole life, um and plus, right? So I can and I have no, I would love to actually, like, that's why I'm here too, because I don't mind sharing my story. Like, I've been in AA, I've told my story in AA many times, doing things like that of that nature. So it's not about like there ain't no super ego, because like a lot of say when we go from like say that perspective into like say the God realm, goddess realm, whatever perspective, and then we're getting into egos and what have you. Well, once you've fallen on your face so many times, right, as a human too, or you start to realize that everybody's the same, like so many, we're all the same. Don't matter. That's where we're all the same. It don't matter how high or how great you are or how low you are. We're all capable of falling right on our fucking face in shit. Okay? And that's it. That's what's this that. We're all different individuals, right? We're all our own individual person made up of our own. There's so no two are alike, the same, right? However, what is the same, right, is the name of the game. And there's no right better or worse. Nobody can, you can't like, oh, I couldn't. It's like, no, 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 no. There's a whole big circle wheel here, right? Like one big globe. Where's my? That's like saying one of these little right snowflakes in here isn't going to be affected by the water that is that it's encompassed in, right? So that's not possible, right? And if observing it from the outside, which is what we are right now, right? We're observing that they all had movement. Some are still floating around, right? They were all affected one way or another when I flipped, right? When I flip, right? When we flip it. So just because we say my plants are dancing, right? It's like, well, that's not gonna, right? Yeah, it's like, well, we can't again avoid the wind, right? I'm gonna have to change the title of this apparently because well, hey, fairy. Luciferian too, right? And not Luciferian. Like, don't be twisting shit. I'm saying, like, oh, she's a freaking what you call it? Oh God, devil worshippers or whatever the hell you guys are. Just like, it's just you. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, really. Yeah, yeah. But I absolutely love Lucifer. Lucifer is Venus, right? It's like, so again, like right now, like, there's a lot of like great light bringer. Lucifer means light bringer, right? So when people speak of like certain things and just call it a name due to misinformation and what have you. And now don't get me wrong, there's others that use and that energy and they do use it for and then they call them something. It's like, yo, but that's not the natural nature of what that, etc. Like it represents certain things and what have you. So when people take the energy and they go use it for, and they're like, yeah, right, because again, out of that's like satanist and whatever ists, right, occultists, ists, or isms, whatever, right? That's yeah, different intention. 9/10 of the law, just as they say possession is 9/10 of the law, which would make sense, right? 9/10 of our then also, right? 0.5, yeah, thought, feeling, penny, 2 cents. So then the 9/10 intention that backs up whatever we do that's coming out, because the world makes up our thoughts and our feelings that are swirling around what come out and that are outside of, right? So then they come back inside our brains and up our roots and so we have feelings and thoughts that come through our brains like a sponge, constantly pulling in information, right? Synapses, lightning storm. But the brain starts off a clean sponge, right? But the body is also one big brain, and the physical body has like 7 octillion something, give or take, atoms that it's made of, on top of encapsulating 1/3 of the God DNA, right? That keeps us alive. 1/3 of our energy, again, is in our body at a time. The other 2/3 is floating around, 33, 33, 33 from the one, from source. um, if that gives you any comfort. If you didn't see that, again, sometimes, right, that vow of silence. Yeah, rewind if you need. So yeah, I'm gonna read the air elemental now. And thanks for coming and hanging out. Oh my gosh, how long have we been on here now? A dang hour. It's been an hour, and I think I'm gonna move. Well, let's see. This might still be the best place for me to read. I'm starting to lose natural light to see. And my artificial lighting in here sucks. Sucks horribly. All right, the element of air. Air is the most insubstantial of the elements. With each breath we take, air gives us life. It is around and within us, just like just like I would, right? Like everything, like we're all a body of water too, right? Everything's water and air. First two elements, right? Hydrogen. All right. Um, it lends the sky its colors of blue, white, and gray. Blue, white, and gray. Right now, is the sky blue? We call the sky blue, but right, nighttime blackness is what creates the light. So the midnight, right, blackness, the void, the dark. But when humans wake up at the day, right, like we wake up, go to school, go to work, 10101, right? That's when, right, right, you could tell too, right? Like when are humans born? Well, when do humans wake up to start doing stuff? Are you a nocturnal being? How does your clock operate? You know, if you're like me, it's like I always been up at night. It's like, and everybody was trying to get me to go up, just get up for school. I always get yelled at my whole life. Get out, da, da. I'm never on anybody's time. Well, because you keep trying. I'm not. I'm like on a whole different clock system. I think it's like I keep time on you. I am. I'm with you, but I'm exhausted now. Running around the sun with y'all, on top of not being able to sleep at night because that's when I'm awake, right? That's when I'm. So it's like no matter how exhausted we are, we're awake. It's like trying to say, right? It's like it's very difficult to sleep during your right watch time hour. Your watch, right? All along the watchtower. My whole life. My whole life. How about you? Everybody's like, how come you can't? Well, what? How do you? How does your clock operate? What's your order of function and order of process? What's your purpose for being here? Right? So that you have a way, like, because if we're going to compare our systems, so that, like, are we comparing why you work a certain job during the day and I have, like, I've had a, if we want to, like, right, if we want to compare apples, oranges, bananas, and cherries and blueberries, we absolutely can if you really want to, right? So, because I've had a job since I've been 12 years old and worked on the books and paid taxes and then had my own apartment and etc. Since I was like 16 years old. And then I have three daughters. So I've taken care of my three daughters pretty much like I always had like at minimum of two jobs, if not three, and still always also did extra to try to like, right. I used to have to go to like neighbor to neighbor all the time, even though I had three jobs and I still had to, it's like I ain't too proud to whatever. I've always had to do extra and help others. I've helped at soup kitchens and like and other places. It's like I've always helped and I've always worked and I've always tried my best to take care of my own and then some. And 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 I've also been cared for by men, you know, but it's like not but yeah, some got to give, right? Like we're all sick of these false narratives and broken promises. And if your word is not of gold, you're motherfucking broke. You broke, bitch. And you can't fix a bitch that's spiritually broken until they're ready to start working on their temple from within, right? Solomon's temple. They got to hit rock bottom. So otherwise, we can't keep putting our time and energy into negative, sick people that aren't willing. It's like trying to get a drunk person or an addict to stop doing drugs. If they're not ready to stop, you could, you know, voice your concerns, say how much you love them, right? Say how you, right? Like, I wish you know, not I wish, but like, right? It hurts me to see you like living that way. I know I hurt myself living that way when I was like in right like my right? I was in like a super depression. My whole life was falling apart. It's like anything I thought that was going to happen in my life didn't. I was a single mom of like three daughters. I had two, and then I ended up having right a third who I'm so excited. I love to pieces, right? She's older now, but I didn't even expect to have right another. And at that time, it's especially it's like right. So many things have always gotten thrown at me, and I've always done my best to always keep a positive outlook and still deal with right a lot of abuse, like literal, and still keep a smile on my face and keep going and like, ah, yeah, yeah, right? Everything's all good, right? So when we're dealing with so many different things and we've never been able to slow down and take care of ourselves, right? That's like right when I was in my say throes of alcoholism, like that's around that, it's like it's so much finally built up. And right, that also was part of my, it's like I've grown up, right? Everybody like drinking's normal, right? Depends on how you grow up, but like especially when I was younger, it was right, like my dad used to drive around with a beer in his lap, like while he was it's like it was a lot more like it was different during the um as we're at race, so different times that we're in. Swept away by the air. Well, so but rather than the reason I'm sharing this right now, right, is because first of all, it's important. I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm here to share my experience and what I've gone through, when times are right, in order to, right, so you're not alone either. How do we all know this information if we don't share it? It's like if others are so busy working and doing what have you, while when, right, we fell on our face and then, some of us fall on our face at different times, obviously. Thank God for that, right? But we all fall. So when we fall, right, it's like, how important is it to have other people that are there to support you and your loved ones, whether we all like it or not or are happy about it. And one of the most important things I learned during that time of healing, because my whole life, like I said, I got like made to feel like something was wrong with me until finally that one day. If you're a black sheep, let me just tell you, the black sheep are the smartest, strongest ones in the family because you constantly are testing things, right? Because you don't just go with what's being told, you question everything. So a lot of the time we can get abused or be called names or be made to feel outcast, right? Because we're not thinking the same as everybody else. We are questioning things. We're doing things a little bit, right? Abstract or differently or what have you. So that's going to cause attention. And people are either going to, right, appraise you for it and be like, oh, or if you do, right, like, or when you fall, it's like, oh, well, what happened to that? You're always the soap opera. You're always the talk of the family, the talk of the town, the talk of whatever, right? And anybody that has any kind of experience, whether you've become, if you've gotten famous, like, right, say artists or what have you, actors, etc., there's a high and a low. There's a depression that comes with that. You feel great when you're right, and it's when you're on stage or when you're in the crowd and like around all these people and what have you. But then you go home and it's like, right, like, right, did you get toilet paper? Did you, right? So the regular normal life, and then that mediocre is like, well, and then you start to question reality, right? And then you can get depressed because there's such highs, right? That's a known thing. So like, why is there so many, wow, either deals with the said devil or, contracts, you were part of my 5-year plan. And they always do it just a little less than 4 years, 5 years. Like right now, well, we've been here just a little less than 5 years. I take note, right? So as far as linear time goes, the measurement of that timeline, when beings have used their antics and tactics and manipulated so many for so long, right? well, the twin flames, etc. There's a reason why we, right, everything was set up, right, and then, right, because no matter what you do to reverse something, it always, nature always comes back to its place of origin, its original place of origin. That's why karma always come back. So one that's why what you do come back to you. Every thought you have, every feel, right? It's like, oh, now, oh, well, now you gotta take a look at that. And if you don't, it's gonna, right? Karma tsunami, bam! It's gonna, right? The flood. That's why all ancient stories have a flood story. The Bible was written from where though? The Enuma Elish, the old ancient Sumerian tablets and texts. Where were those written from? The Nag Hammadi, right? The Dead Sea Scrolls. What does that mean? Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls. 11101. Right. So the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? That's like to say dead skin. Where'd that come from? Right. The ocean is, can you drink the ocean water? Is a lake a different body of water than an ocean, than a stream? Sorry, I'm getting little messages. Woohoo! Speaking of music, oh, music. All right. So yeah, Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, Dead Man Sea. Stagnant water is dead water. So when others are trying to get an electrical charge and put electricity into their waters, right? Copycatting something else, it's like, right, you can only, that's only going to last so long until it doesn't, right? So when people aren't getting their beings, aren't getting their actual energy from, well, everything gets is here from, right, from source, say, but a lot of, right, there's a big discrepancy, and right, like Genesis 3, where some beings had an idea, a bright idea, like the light bulb. When one has an idea, let there be light, right? But not all ideas are meant to be carried out, and sometimes, right, it takes a while for those things to run out their energetic echo. 603, so to speak. The reverberation, the right, and it takes time for something else to. I gotta put my sweatshirt on. So hold on. Um, everything has its season, and everything has its own time and space to process and take its course, right? So on that note, okay, element of air. Now I'm gonna move you with me. So let's see. So air is the most insubstantial of the elements. With each breath we take, air gives us life. It is around and within us. It lends the sky its colors of blue, white, and gray, and it paints the sunset in flaming hues. Around the earth it spreads its gentle mantle, filtering the harshness of sunlight to lightness, brightness, and warmth. Air itself is invisible. We can see its movement in the wind stirred leaves. feel it brush our skin, and hear it whistling in our ears. But when the air is still, there is nothing to betray its subtle presence. Air provides all that we see and hear, as light and sound waves travel through its medium. Our sense of smell is also a gift of air, and with it, we are connected to our past and a myriad of sensations. For smell is the most instinctual of senses. It connects to the reptilian brainstem. Yeah. And we all have reptilian. When people are like, oh, reptilian, it's like that represents part of it's like what I just read, our brainstem. It's like that's what's connected into our central nervous system, into our spine, so that our spine then downloads the information that our brain is receiving and sends it back up the other side of the spine, and then so it's like a whole process, and it's also coming up through the left leg from the under and up our back, right up the backside, up through the body, like like a wave from motion, right? So our body is constantly, right? There's many different systems, 606, that are working in tangent, right? In tandem alongside one another, right? So as we keep going through all this, like it's like a lot of the things again that are named and titled and labeled certain things when they're like, oh, reptilians and what have you. Yeah, yes. Yes. Like absolutely, right? Reptilian. Duh. If you're not, then how are you living right now? Then you wouldn't have a brain, and you wouldn't be able to have any intellect. That's secular thinking, linear thinking. Right? Oh, I'm gonna get me that. Oh, I did. That's the reptilian part too, right? There's part like, right, and that's an Anunnaki and etc. And the Anunnaki are the sons of the the mother. But there's a whole bunch of different stuff to that too. So, and we're all still weeding through all of that. Star system DNA stuff, right? So, but don't let like the again like the dragon bloodlines, and then there's reptilian, then there's lizard, and there's salamander, okay, and there's a lot of different, right? Like, yeah. Like we speak of like dinosaurs. Well, what do you drive your cars off of? What do they say? Fossil fuel. That's not of your ancestors? Where'd humans come from? Humans were the babies of the gene pool. Baby babies. Even after animals and birds, flying and crawling things, right? After all that came Adam and Eve. Mankind and human after. If Adam and Eve were here first, was not Adam Mars? What happened to Mars? Mars and Venus, right, are twins, so to speak. So, right, like what happened to Mars? A lot of people right now are speaking of taking rocket ships and landing on Mars and colonizing Mars, and and the moon, man in the moon. Where do these sayings come from? If NASA went to the moon in the 40s, how come they never went back? How come people just how is the pictures that we see of the Earth that they show us, are those actual pictures of our Earth, or are they imagined CGI? I'm just wondering. Just a question. Just throwing it out there. All right. So reptilian brain. It connects to the reptilian brainstem so that one whiff of scent can evoke a spectrum of responses, right? And don't forget too, like a lot, like lizards smell with their tongue. That's why, right, too, right? Or like a hunter, a lot of right primal beings, a wolf, etc. Right? Wolf. It's like right, we smell the environment. Did I say too much? Yeah. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you don't mind, reptilian wolf tribes, darlings. Luciferian angel fairy tribes. What else? Little bratty kid, human, I don't know. Whatever. Whatever you want to call me, I don't care. I was like, again, I'm more excited about like learning all the different parts of ourselves and what they all mean. So when people get too wrapped up in the thoughts and feelings and the labels and like and whatever, it's like, okay, but wait. Did you like, because there's so much to like comprehend that like don't don't be a sellout. Don't sell yourself short, right? Do your best to learn. I'm saying this in the most sarcastic, fun way, right? I mean, don't do yourself a disservice. Look into these things so that you have more knowledge, so that you know more of who you are. What more fun is that than like it's like a never ending, right, Christmas present, a never ending gift when you're present. Literally, we're constantly like, and then as soon as we think we know, it's like, oop, then it's like, wait, but then there's more, and then something else changes, and it's like, wait, what? Whoa, and then it's like, okay, so then you see even more different perspectives and definitions and right vibrations and like ways of looking and interpreting things. So it's like, okay, oh, that's how then it's like then we don't start to label ourselves so much because it's like, okay, it meant that. And it's okay, okay, I can acknowledge it meant that, or it means that. And to some people it means that. But okay. So right, but then it's like, all right, but then it's like, okay, now there's like all, it's like, okay, so you start to bring more things into perspective, more colors, more, not just right, the sun, the sky, the sun, its colors of blue, white, and gray. And the grays, right? Right? When they talk about extraterrestrials or what have you, how do the grays come? They say they don't have sexual organs, right? They weren't the androgynous ones, right? A hermaphrodite or Aphrodite, hermaphrodite, masculine, feminine, as Venus, Mars, masculine and feminine balance, and positive and negative. And androgynous beings, right? Reptilians lay eggs. I think I don't. A lot of them, some change sexes. I think like seahorses. Not that a seahorse isn't reptilian, but come from right. So it's still yeah, yeah. I think they actually change sex. They're able to change sexes. So I need a little top back. Sorry, I know I'm bouncing over a lot of different stuff and still haven't finished reading. I'm gonna finish reading it right now. So yeah, question everything. Stay open minded. The minute I think I know things, again, like I say, I was in like AA a while back, like, and I would still I love meetings and what have you, but I would never label myself as an alcoholic any longer, and not I'm like, oh, I'm so much better than that, and like whatever. No, I just don't label myself fucking anything anymore. I like whether it's like what nationality or which I never really have anyhow. It's like right, I've learned throughout time that my family was born in certain places and what have you, and it's like right, I have German and whatever in my blood, but I'm not I'm not anything. I'm just who I am. It's like I'm not necessarily anything because of my family name or my nationality or my color or because of my hair color or because of where I've grown up or whatever, where I went to school or what other people have said about me. That doesn't define who I am, right? So as we go through our again life and go through death and rebirth, dark night of the soul, etc., many times, um we start to, like I said before, recognize, like, even in AA, it's like I had some experiences like with sponsors and like people that I got so very close with. And we ended up having like jealousy issues and stuff in there too that were like, like, and it happens everywhere. It's like, but it became like high school and catty and like soap opera. And I don't like that. Like once it became like that, it's like, yeah, like it became not fun for anybody then. It was like, great. It like that, the immaturity. And so even though people are in a healing environment, sometimes they can take that into that can become their new say drug or addiction or obsession, or where they control or have then feelings of ego and then envy and jealousy come into play, and it comes with everything in every territory in all of us, so we all have to be aware of that. To be consciously aware of that is so important. That's why it's like we're always like, no matter what we learn and how extensive our training and experience go, and we become masters at our trade or our career or in something in our life, whatever it is, a sport, an art, and whatever. Never think that we're so good that we can't learn more, right? It's like a mechanic, an engineer. It's like somebody can and like all of a sudden show us something. We're like, oh, we know how to do whatever, especially those um um just teasing. It's just they're so like very stuck in their ways, right? But yeah, and they can fear change. So I say that with love, you know. I say everything with love. Lots of sarcasm and lots and loads of love. Um so but yeah, in order to change can be very scary, right? So you know, we can want to hang on to, or like, think we know how to do things, and then not be willing for somebody else, like, right, say a child, like, look, dad, look what I learned, or someone at the job, you've had that job, right? The guys have been running that place for a long time, and now some new guy that went to school thinks he's all cool and he has all the new knowledge and whatever. And so now the older guys are going to automatically, be like, they're already thinking that this new guy's gonna think he's coming in with an ego and that he knows his shit, right? And that, whatever. So this is where a lot of that comes into play, right? Like with anything. And so they may not want to listen to him, and they already have a presumption. And the younger, I'm just making an example, said gentleman or guy or who, or maybe it's a girl, right? And now the guys are really like, because now girls coming in to do a man's job, right? um, which has gotten a lot of better throughout time and what have you, because a lot of the jobs I've had are jobs that men do. Right, so I can relate. I've had to earn my respect in places that I've had to work in, right? Like a chef, like in a kitchen, or right, a lot of times, like, right, a mom's a kitchen at home, but in a kitchen in a restaurant, or in a kitchen in the restaurant, in the business, it's a lot of men. So you're competing with a lot of men, and it's a lot of right. So it's like trying to be right. Well, it's even different than being like a mechanic or what have you, but or anything like that, though. And I got a lot of friends like that, right, in blue collar work or what have you, that do stuff like that too. Like I have there's one chick I know, she has her own landscaping business. She's badass. I've had friends that, there's, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody can do any job, right? So, but sometimes we get looked down upon or shunned upon, or women don't make as much money as men. It's been all forever. And why? And there's a big difference between women, right? Empress, divine feminine, women that gave birth to and have been the sons, and then the sons of men, right? And we have mankind, and then we have Adams and Eves, and now we have the daughters of Eves and Cain's and Abel's, and right, the children of Jacob and Esau, right? The Israelites and the Edomites and the Ishmaelites, and right, all there's a so now we have all these other generations, right? So, but they and now we're also right, because a lot of us are reincarnated and resurrected from past lives. So we're back. And many of them don't recognize and have awareness that they're talking to the ones that they murdered so long ago. And when we say stuff, they still don't. They or they deny it, or they act, or they get angry, right? That's why, like, so when those that have been using craft energy to manipulate others and say that and whatever and allow others to think or omit, right? They add something or take something away from and make it appear as if, right? And have used other people's name, vibrations, energies, forms, etc., 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 whatever. Right?
To me is moving around, playing with my son, having a good time.
Like, there's a reason we're all here. Like, yeah, there's that time. Yeah, yeah. I was like, well, we don't even need to like go there because I just did, and we already know, and now they know too. And if they don't know yet, they will soon. You know, and it's not like, like, oh, they're gonna get what's coming to them. No, absolutely not. I the goal, I want everyone, in my perfect world, I want everybody to heal and feel better, and that is what's going to eventually happen, whether it's in this lifetime or their next one. But they don't get to decide like whether we have another one or not. It's like, no, 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 we've done our work. We're here to actually like live now, right? The living have already like, right? It's like you guys used up all your scratch offs, right? There ain't no more money in the system. There ain't no more gambling. There ain't no more credit that you can possibly try to now, right? Wait, hold on, ready. There ain't no more. Lights out. It's like, so when you go back there to try to go get one more fix, well, go get one more. You just want one more. And yeah, there ain't even no way back there. Just to be real clear. So, but I'm gonna turn the light back on in here right now. Oh boy, what a good old song. Who's this? Gregory Isaacs. To make me dream of you, and I wanna fall in love with you. Whoa, I didn't mean to drop you. I definitely didn't mean to drop you, Soul Tribe. So yeah, just keep swimming, and to thine own self be true, meaning honor yourself. We are unconditional love, and that's the love of Venus. And it's like, I may not like what others do. I may not like what my daughters do sometimes. I may not like what other people do. I may not like what I do sometimes, right? but I have to love myself. I still love, right? I love my life. I love my daughters. I love all my struggles I've been through. It wouldn't, that's what I was saying earlier. Instead of playing victim, I could be like, I had all these things happen. Who wants to hear that? And right, it's like, no, we go through things, and it's like, okay, I didn't understand ever why I was going through so much of this, and it's like it never made sense to me. And it's like I'd always be like, kind of like, what's wrong with me? Like it's like I always keep trying to do stuff, and then it's like I always get yelled at, or I'm always disappointing people. It's like it's like I feel like a disappointment. So I know what that feels like, and still walking around with like that smile, right? Like everything's fine. you know? Um, so, but eventually that catches up with you, and you got to take care of that. Just like anybody that's a liar or an asshole, or that is the ones making us feel that way, right? So eventually, because once we leave and start to get better, they're going to just find another source. Like right now, not to be rude, but right now, right, the next source that they got was my daughters. But my daughters are wiser and smarter than that. Like my two oldest daughters are like they're and not in a way like they're so much like I'm again not knocking my family, but my family where I biologically was born from still has a lot that they need to go through on a human level in order to cleanse their mental faculties and their emotional bodies so that their spirit is able to soar, right? They can't see clear until they start to do those things. So they're still in human 3D negative and caught up in that, right? So, and that's okay. Right. Again, we're all at different parts of the spectrums here. And then at the same time, there's other stuff that again I don't even have a clue. So it's like, right, it could be like, ah ha ha ha, the joke's all on me. It's like, which it probably effing is, but whatever. And again, if you look at it like that too, because it's like, okay, well, and not like jokes on me, like right, because sometimes it's not funny. Sometimes it's like it's like I said before. It's like, what's wrong with me, or like how come? It's like, okay, so they're all living like, and they don't even care. But meanwhile, we have all this compassion and empathy and feel all this stuff, and we feel guilty if we spend like an extra whatever on something that is beneficial for us. But other people are just like, right, like, oh, whatever. And maybe I just got this new credit card, and I just went and got a new car, and I just got this, and like I have your kids, and but they don't even tell us they have our kids. They just blackball us. And I'm not even talking about my family right now. There's a whole mixture of stuff coming in. So just to be real clear, I'm off my specific family for the present moment. Right. But when we're dealing with like all these different stuff that come with being a black sheep, right? Once you start to get sober, and that means once you start to wake the fuck up, because everybody's drunk off of the algol sauce, because everybody that's here is from the algol star system, which is Saturn, Moon, Mars, Earth. Right. So all of us go through codependency and addiction. That's the isms. Okay. So as we're recognizing all the mental, emotional, codependent, etc. behavior isms, a lot called us also religion. Religion's been here, right? We are legion. RE is like redo, rewrite, release, right? Rewind, reverse, religion, repeat. So when they keep using the same things, right? The art of war, the art of, if you have control of the children, you have control of the future. That's what Hitler said, right? Now, Hitler's intention was peace. What about that other dude? What's his name? Henrik Heisler? Heinrich? That's the dude. history that people been taught. It's like I knew there was a reason I got guided to not pay attention to certain things in school and religion. Like, and I still I loved, like, so don't get me wrong, it's like church and certain things, and like there's many beneficial things to getting together with like-minded people and etc. But again, it's like AA, religion, anything. If you take it too much into your, like, oh, this is what I am, and oh, now you're right. Or anyone at, what are you fighting a war for, right? Patriotism, right? um it's always so much more rough when you put it out and relight it. Anyhow, so yeah, coming out of, it's like, again, we do things, we have to repeat and redo things until it's ingrained, and until it's a learned behavior, and then, right, then we can make our own decisions, right, after we've gotten to know something, right, ourselves a little better. So that's really a lot of this awakening and etc. too. And a lot of beings that maybe are like more in the transcendental, I can never say that word right. Like transcendence, transcend, when they're on that side, that's more like archons, and that's like the draconian reptilian from, like, that's like great. Sorry, Queen Elizabeth. That's like Queen Elizabeth family and stuff like that over there, right? And that's like, well, that bloodline is ancestral. It is. It just is. So right, it just is. And I'm sorry. I apologize if that offends anybody or anything or whatever have you, but that just is what it is. And I don't know too much of, yeah, I do, but I don't. And I'm not gonna get into all that. But yeah, so yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But that's a whole different thing. So don't get that twisted with, like, right, like, and also that's all, like, I that there's a lot of discrepancy on that wavelength. So, like what I just referred to is because, like, some things got brought to my attention earlier today too about that. Over 5 years ago, I got a whole ding diggity dang dang about all that. So, like, way back. And so throughout time, but some came to my attention yesterday regarding that, or day before, and Elizabeth keeps coming up in the name Elizabeth, Virginia, Elizabeth, Victoria, Vivian, Virgo. Um, well, like, I just have Morgana now just came in, which I didn't have any. I felt good. I didn't have a, like, a with that, with Morgana. So yeah, Morgana. Not that I know any of the name, but again, those names just coming up in the field a lot. So take what resonates, leave the rest, and it can mean a lot of different things, right? It's like the spider, right? So there's like 8 arms, right, on a spider or an octopus. So each arm could be holding, right? Say I say the name Emily. So there could be 8 Emily's, right? So, like, now there's like these 8 different vibrations of Emily, or, right, say Elizabeth. So we got Queen Elizabeth, we got the ancient Queen Elizabeth, which, like, back in the day, that's something to do with Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, the altar, and some with money in the altar, because Jekyll Island, where money was invented. Careful of the word, right? When people say, oh, they created whatever. No, no, no. They invented. They invented something with something that they put together with what was already here. They learned how to do something or put something together and invented something. They discovered how to use something with what was already God given here by God and Holy Spirit and Mother Earth and Gaia and the entities and consciousness that have been here since way before time. So, right, that word creation, very big difference. Creation, invention. Author, right? Coexisting and co-creating with spirit. That's fucking awesome. That's where we want to be at. That's where we're always at anyway. And when people are like, oh, the devil, or people think that they have a right to then take somebody else out or judge somebody else in that manner, or like say that another whatever. Well, really? Well, what does that make you? Now you got to go play mirror, mirror. Now you got to go look in the mirror. If you just decided as a right to then you just bashed a whole right race, creed, nationality, religion, whatever, right? And I'll say I talk a lot of shit, but never from my heart. Anything I'm ever like blabbing or like that I'm sarcastically channel like saying, especially like it's like I'm not. And if I do, it's like it's sometimes spirit has me say some shit, and I'm like, I know I'm like because I don't normally talk like that. So, but again, I'm learning my own personal. I'm learning to not feel guilty and to not apologize for shit that fucking ain't mine. So I'm not going to continuously keep apologizing about not being politically correct either. But I do have compassion and empathy, and I do, for my fellow peoples and my humanity and others that, it sounds like I'm harsh and insensitive and disassociated sometimes and don't give a fuck. And that is completely no, 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 not. And I don't know if I sound that way. I feel that way sometimes. And I again, because I can detach myself from myself to observe, right? It's again over analysis. I'm always over analyzing everything. So, right, over analyzing, not over ego. It's like computer program. So I'm constantly like, do. And if it doesn't feel right, like I have to wait for that to happen in order for me to feel okay. Unless I'm just right. If I'm like in the moment, then I'm good. Right? I'm always in the moment. But like I'm saying, like it's funny why it's interesting they have me talking about all this. I hope this means something to you or whoever's watching, or if you do think anything I've said at all during this, metaphysical mama mumbo jumbo has, risen anything up or like flashed a flag of importance that you think might help someone else, that again, yeah, please share, and it's like this is why it's like as far as like right, like when people are like, well, I wanted to get paid for things or whatever, and I'm not talking about that specifically because this is what I'm. It's like no, I information is meant to be. That's how we heal. It's not meant to be seeked, hunted, snuck, gathered, hidden, stolen. It's like it's all there. So then when someone takes it and then uses it and then it's like, no, I didn't, or I did that, or like, oh, so hey, you want to whatever? Yeah, act like my friend after you just fucking stole my shit. And right, because your enemies always right, yeah, like to hang around and act like they're your friends. That's what they say, right? Keep your enemies closer. They do say that. They also say, watch out for the quiet ones. SBD. They act all aloof. All right. Thank you for hanging out. This has just been all over the place. Fuck. It's like every single time I try to make a freaking focused video. Forget about it. Whatever. It is. It is focused. I'm focused. All right. Excuse me. All right. So it connects to the reptilian brainstem so that one whiff of scent can evoke a spectrum of responses. A perfume, for instance, can whisk us back It can whisk us back many years, vividly evoking emotions and images that we thought long past. So air brings the gift of memory, right? And that's, yeah, like nostalgia and stuff. That's how I'm a big, yeah, nostalgia. Um, Air is associated with thought, communicate, because I don't remember things a lot. So it's like, oh, that reminds me of what I like, a good feeling or a good memory or a good thought. So that's how nostalgia operates for me. Because, I don't get too stuck in it too. I try not to get stuck with it too long. But yeah, I always keep spirit, those feelings with me. And when they come up, you know, because something reminds me of them, whether good, sometimes they can be scary too, right? A smell or something can bring us to not a nice memory. But those things are also things that we really absolutely have to deal with, guys, even though we don't like it, even though it's uncomfortable, and even though, right, we may not know how to, right, because it's unknown, or it makes us, again, feel very vulnerable or scared, literally, um, or full of anxiety and, again, fear. Nobody likes to feel like that. So know that you're not alone and remember to breathe in those moments. And it's like, I'm okay. And that's when you rise your divine feminine up. You breathe and you know you're not alone. And the divine feminine is with you. And then that'll help your divine feminine within care for that frightened little child inside of you that is afraid. Because this is about caring for our inner child. This is inner child work. Um, Also, right? So shadow work, inner child work, which is rising the Christ consciousness, caring for our inner child, right? So there's many ways again that we can pull up the um current, the information, in order to look at it in many different, right, variables, in many different ways, so that we're all able to have some kind of way to look at it that we can relate, and then get right, nurture, guide, give our little child a hug, and then come up with more thoughts and feelings. It's like, okay, how would you talk to a child if a child's scared? It's like, it's not going to be scary. Like, you don't have to be scared. What else can, like, what else can we try to think of, right? What else does that look like, right? Like, if a shadow's scaring a child, right? Well, what else does that look like? It kind of looks like, right? And then you can make it something silly, right? Kind of looks like a marshmallow to me. Did I just say that? Why was that the first thing that just came out of my marshmallow mind? That's like Ghostbusters. The first thing I could think of was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That was so bizarre. Oh gosh. All right. Anyway, that's so weird. Marshmallow. All right. Anyway. So yeah, right. So anyhow, it's trying to do that with ourselves though, and changing the thought, the perception, the feeling. It's like, okay, wait, how else can I look at this? Or just breathe and ask for, right, some more clarity. I need some expansion because this is very uncomfortable. Why am I feeling this way? Is right. And then ask yourself, talks to universe and spirit and your, right, your inner child, your divine, your right? We got to talk ourselves through things, right? We're talking to ourselves all the time, right? Who's always talking in your head, right? And then also there's like, right, there's our heart talking, and then there's like, right, other chit chatter that's talking. So having the awareness and the discernment of where those different voices are coming from and what's yours, what belongs to you, and being able to let go of what you do not need to continuously repeat in your head either, right? If you keep repeating negative records, replays, and thoughts, right, in our head, in your head, right, when we do that, um like, I'm not good enough, I'll never be able to do it, I don't know what to do. And I all the time, I all the time, especially when I'm not sure. It's like, I'm not, I don't know what to, right, like, so until I do, it's like I can get like straight up stuck. But I don't, um I've learned to, right, I don't hit myself as hard with the bat and as often, right? So those voices get quieter once you start to acknowledge them, because now you're calming the baby down, the little devil baby, whether it's your little devil or, right, the universes that are all floating around all over the freaking place, right? Made up of a whole mishmash of all of our, right, fears and fantasies and likes and dislikes and, right. So that's what really makes up the world. Money, thoughts and feelings. Billie Eilish is on now. I love this song. Your animal. But she won't sing this song. Okay. Air is associated with thought, communication, ideas, and movement. The generic name for the spirits of air is sylphs, mischievous and ethereal spirits who delight in their swiftness, freedom, cleverness, and unpredictability. Mm-hmm. They are the. I hope you. I don't know if you can hear the song right now. They are the pure manifestation of the element of air, more mobile than quicksilver. Now that's funny that that just came up. And now quicksilver is also mercury. And light is air. These diaphanous beings want to make us wake up, set ourselves free, and think, but not in the plodding way we have come to respect in our culture, where fact has to be set upon fact until we have built what we believe is an edifice of knowledge, right? We're sick of that. I was like, that foundation ain't nothing but a bunch of papers and Elmer's glue. And the fairies are about to fly on through and whisk all those papers around. Like, that's why we made it digital, but we have digital fairies too. And if you guys are messing around with stuff, they're just gonna put it back because they're just here to clean stuff up. Like it just said. It's like that's it. It's gonna get cleaned up. Yeah. Fairies like to have fun. Humans are just like, nope, this is how it is. That's what it is. Well, that's your. It's like, wait, no, no, no. That's what you all made it. And we've all been going along with it for a long time now, but it's like, okay. Game over. Just that game anyway. We want to play a new game now. If that's okay with all of you. Don't you all want to play a new game too? Just, I mean, right? You can only play cops and robbers and like right and whatever else you're all like. It's like yeah, and then so it's like we've got murders and rapists, and it's like okay, like yeah, that don't even that ain't no game first of all, but that's a like that energy. That ain't no game. But on again, if like right, if we're immortal beings and it's like universe and what have you, and that was the game that they wanted to play. I guess that's a reason too. Like a lot of us weren't here for a lot of whatever that was because that wasn't the game that we wanted to play. There's like right there's yeah, you know what I mean. That's why there's free will too, right? So, but that's like okay, and it doesn't mean people are bad like that too, is right? It's like some I'm not sticking up for don't put any words or any of that in my mouth or anywhere on my energy or channel. Okay. So just yeah, just to be real crystal fucking clear. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit here. I don't mind talking about anything and things get brought up. And again, I'm not just because we never know what a person's experience has been. So when I'm generalizing and saying stuff like that, or something comes up in that, because that's again, now I felt like I had to discuss that, because that's not something that just gets thrown out like, oh, whatever, ddd. It's like, okay, that got thrown out in a mixture of other stuff, and it's like, now I'm right now we're gonna acknowledge that, because right, because yeah, we're not gonna just let that float like a piece of shit in the top of the water and not bring truth to it and some level, right? So there is like, right, there's things that hurt the human, right, conscious and feelings and etc. that we've experienced for a long time. That's why I'm saying, isn't it, wouldn't it be right, isn't it, wouldn't it be nice to come out of that age, that vibration in all parts of that, right? Like, you know, the only thing we want to kill is like, right, the negative thoughts that we're thinking, and like, and then just keep creating and have more, right, like more, like, right, more abundance, more like, but again, it's like, we don't always want to just be like, does everybody always want, you don't always want to just be like, oh, so happy all the time and everything's like great and like, yeah, and like, like eventually it's like, yeah, right, that's why we have, right, like light and dark, and like, right, sometimes like, yeah, right, too good is too good to, right, like too good, boring, right, like, right, some, right, the water's just all calm all the time. Sometimes waves and bouncing around is a little more fun, right, than just calm water, right? So putting things into perspective is really important. Not getting too carried away with the first thought and feeling that comes up with the word that gets that triggers us, right, on some level inside, right? We have a chemical reaction or some kind of reaction to. All right, hold on. We're almost done with this. Sylphs. We're almost done. All right, sylphs bring inspiration, revelation, new perspectives, and laughter. It may seem easy to ignore them, to pull your hat down over your ears and stare at the ground. But the sylphs will tweak at your coat, whisper in your ear, and create a little monkey business around you until you decide to look up and use your mind. Ah, breathe deeply and take flight with the sylphs. And that's so true. Because, yeah, it's like you just want to be boring. Like, again, sometimes our human lives are like take us to the place. It's like, well, we wanted to be a mom. We wanted to, right? Things didn't maybe sometimes turn out how we wanted. Or, oh, what was I watching yesterday? I love that freaking movie. The Other Woman was on. I never watch TV. I put the TV on just because I wanted to actually check out what was like, going on in the news with Ukraine and Russia and what have you. Which again, don't let that narrative again. Think about why they put the first narrative out with the two V words, and then what, because that's, if you know anything about making money, right? The WAR word is great for that. So what better than a pandemic to then, right, fuel the fire to then jump into keeping everybody so preoccupied with those other thoughts, and then now they can just bam, that's like a double whammy, right? So, and if you look into history, which, like, I wasn't like a huge history buff in like school, like in the education program, but I did pretty good on my, like, on my GED score, or like my IQ is like really high if we want to go by numbers, for you statistics people that go by numbers and IQs, which is cool. Yeah. However, so historically speaking, her story, right? How did AIDS get started? It's like great, like we could get into like I would like to do a stand-up comedy channel too. I think I'm gonna, because I got some nasty shit written down that's like really good. That, like, because I feel like this is like my spiritual whatever stuff. I gotta get like the real and raw, um real and raw with Rara. uh my name's Sarah, and when I was little, my sister couldn't say S, so she always called me Rara. Rara. So I'd like to do that. Raw and real with Rara or something. I don't know. But that might be fun because yeah, it's like yeah, just to bring some, really good humor and what have you to, like, again, sex, spirituality, just our lives. Being right, drunk, uh addicts, mothers, mad, mean, just right, the government, just everything. There ain't no boundaries with me really, except for like, like yeah, when we get into like yeah, like we're like uh yeah, not really though. No. Yeah, there's really not. I don't really have yeah. I'm pretty boundaryless as far as like conversations go. Because everything needs to be tapped into. Everything needs to be touched, acknowledged, and looked at some point or another. We can't ignore things and pretend it's not there. Because when we do that, that's when something little grows into something big, and then you don't recognize how all of a sudden something got bigger than you behind you, and you don't know where it came from. Well, like, right? I think they blamed like Sophia for all that. Like, if you're familiar with who Sophia is, and if you're not, right? That has to do with dragon bloodline and what have you. And Sophia represents wisdom, but they say it's like Sophia, um, well, that's the Christ too. So I think like I'm not sure. Again, a lot of the stories, right? There's so many different stories, but it's like with Jesus and Joseph, and then having Jesus in the tomb. Joseph's we were just reading that yesterday. Joseph, Jesus's twin Thomas, right? Right, again, they say many will come in the name of. So, but then there's more ancient stories of, right, again, this is again women and children and the raping and pillaging of women and children and etc. So going into that, when, right, or the door song, right? Father, I want to kill you, and mother, I want to, right? So it was like singing about the son wanting to murder the father and F the mother, right? So, um, that, that. So when we're dealing with that, and we are, and those, right, say family members or relatives are running around still acting like if they, right, are innocent and they care, but they just don't want to get caught. Don't get confused with people that actually have remorse and a conscience, and those that just keep gambling and have and thought that they were going to get away with again the same old story, history, herstory, and the same old song and dance. Absolutely effing not. I was like, right, like, no, that last deal and that last dream and last bet and all that, that was the last. Yeah. Now it's time for like recovery and like rehabilitation and like realness, right? Is it real? Israel? Is it real? Israel. Is it real? 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 Is it a real? Is it real? Is it real? And is Ra El? You say it like a question, right? Is Ra El? Right? El is the Lord, right? And three men, three blind mice, three men. They say three wise men. Three men three men made a deal at the crossroads. Three men. One wanted power, one wanted wisdom, and one wanted love. So if they, right, it's like, right, when they make a deal, when you make a deal with the, say, devil, right, the devil's gonna give you what you want, but it's gonna, right, man, you gotta pay back. You still gotta pay it back. You still gotta pay. You still gotta pay it back. It's like when you're done playing the game, you gotta put all the pieces back in the board in the box. Everything go back in the box. Where'd that come from? Righty, righto. I don't know what spirit that is, or righty righto, they just said, and they wanted me to say that out loud. So whoever's watching, if that means something to you, an ancestor, some fucking, that was for you. Righty righto, that has nothing to, I have known no one or anything besides that. Righty, they're still saying it. They're making me laugh. What the hell are they saying? Oh, you know, whenever you appear here is the right time, and they already know there's no such thing as time. Time is fluid, and universe is always fucking with me. So if you're here, and because this is a specific message for whoever you are, someone specific who is or will be watching, there's righty righto, right? What? Wait. Hold on, there's a lot of chatter. They're making me laugh. Really, hold on, wait. They're not making me laugh. They're laughing. There's a lot of like, hold on, wait there. Righty, right up. Hold on. They're saying something. Wait. No, now it's starting to go. Anticipating. Whatever that all was. Righty, righto. Righto. Okay. Oh, now we got another one here that's coming in with like adamants, like righty tighty, lefty loosey, whatever. Not whatever, but what the? They're all adamant. That's a whole different vibration there. Well, that one's adamant. Righty tighty, lighty loosey. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. This one's saying over like righty tighty, lefty loosey. All right, so yeah, anyhow, this is yeah, spirit realm. Hey. Friiiiiyay. Never a dull moment here, and definitely never a dull moment here. If you like cosmic surfing and you like surfing the World Wide Web, the cosmic web, and yeah, you enjoyed anything that just went on here, 212, 2 hours and 12 minutes, huh? Then I would absolutely love and appreciate you coming back and visiting again. Check out some old ancient videos that are up on the archive there, Metaphysical Mama. There's also some really good shows on there too, or good music. If you scan all the way to the bottom, some good live Dave Matthews videos I've recorded and when I was at the shows there, and I love that shit. Honestly, if anybody wants to hire a yo, I love like photography and video and editing and yeah, I'm like all down, not hire, but yeah, well, and hire, yeah. Yeah, no, I want to really start getting shit put together. And I have a lot of stuff. So people that are it, if you, I really want to start getting things like that into a role, into get to going. I have a lot of photography. I have a lot of pictures of some supernatural stuff throughout the years. I have some a lot of pictures of the moon and the stars and mostly moon photos because the camera I have the extent that it can really capture, is the moon. I don't really have such ability to take pictures of the stars with the camera, but I do have some. And many others just as far as photos go and what have you and putting things together. And this is right our living books of life. So I'm down to, it's time, soul tribe. It's time. And I love doing this. So and I'd be talking about doing the website and what have you with that too. And yeah, I'm still absolutely down with, making more videos and putting more out there and, elaborating as we go, or maybe not. Like I've said before, I may be guided to take this whole channel down at one point or another, and then there won't be no more metaphysical mama. It just may be something completely different. Because again, everything has its time and season, and there's a reason that things are, you know, everything's here at our disposal. And then, right, there's an old saying, right, not throwing pearls to swine. So while things are timeless and here, right, it's like, right, they're here for, right, again, a limited amount of time, and then they might not be, right? Because we may get guided to just like, and right, we're done with that now. So now we're going to move on to something else, and we're not going to leave that behind. So that they're having me say that for a reason, you know. So take that as it resonates too. Because right, we're all a horse with no name. So, and that has to do too. I'm going to get into. We're going to start talking about some legal stuff on this channel too. It may not, yeah, on this channel, absolutely. All is relative. So it's really important to understand the words and the languages that we use, and you know how they're being used for or against us. Now, whether you're looking into like right your credit score and your financial, you know, dilemmas and etc., which everybody has, and right the words and the way that the credit systems and the banks and bills and the financial system and etc., the way that everything's worded and the way that it's all you know, again, not the way that it's, because I'm not going to get into, I'm not into a piss, I'm not like, I ain't against or for, I'm just here to bring information out. So if you don't already have awareness of what a straw man is, I strongly suggest you looking into that and what that is, right? If you've never heard of that, right? Um, you know, having basic awareness of our rights, you know, so you're not getting rocked to sleep. So you have basic information on how the legal system works, meaning the media, pharmacadia, the law, right? The system. So when algorithms and the etc. is listening for certain words to be said, and then it either gets right shoveled down one way or shoveled down another, or it gets right lifted or hidden or removed. Well, there's laws to that too. And when you're hiding things that others are supposed to be able to see, for your own advantage, again, just know that you're being watched. Everything that you're removing and moving around and hiding, avoiding, altering, etc., you're being recorded. It's all being recorded. Just so you know, whoever you all are, you're all being watched as you're all watching us. So every single thing you've all done has been documented, whether that's on the web, in your minds, physically, in your thought, right? That it's all traced and documented. If it was done in it, because like, when things aren't done, like things happen. Okay. And we're all here to have an experience, and things are right to make mistakes and learn from our mistakes and etc. But when people are using things maliciously and going against right others' free will, which was our God-given right to all have, and to say no, and right when rape and molestation and murder and etc. and trespassing are occurring constantly into the innocence of the children of God, which we're all children of God, so we're all children. So when others are taking advantage from a higher position and taking advantage of the innocence or the ignorance of others and causing harm, and they've already been given the red flag. They already been given numerous times. It's like, wait, so we're sure that they're not doing it accidentally at this point, right? So now we're all positive and we're all very sure that they made the conscious decision to do what they're doing and what they've been doing, and they decided to consciously do it again. The end. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all know how to count. The countdown has begun. It's the final countdown. Yeah, so no, seriously. For seriously. And yeah, all seriousness, absolutely seriously. Yeah, I'm dead ass. Yeah. Right. So again, the AI and our internet and what have you, that mimics, right, what spirit and what we naturally organically do. So they work in tandem with one another, right? So again, those that have been doing things that think that they're so slick, it's like I've shared, I don't mind sharing my shit. So like when I was a drunk bitch and then I got sober, like we all found out like while you're like in rooms like that, it's like you think you're so slick and like you feel horrible. First of all, you feel horrible about yourself, but then you start to feel a little bit better because you start to realize you're not alone, that other people feel that way too. And that, right, a lot of people have just been walking around like right with that facade, with that mask on, right? Or how many people do you all know that have been to become or been or are addicted to pill form medication that's been prescribed by a doctor? So what, that's okay? Alcohol and pills are okay? Because why? Because some other man said that that's legal? It's okay to eat McDonald's, watch pornography, and drink yourself into an oblivion and just keep like great accruing more debt through credit, which is already backed by a system of money that's not even backed by gold. It has no backing. So I'm just like, so you're all cool living off of farts is pretty much what you're telling me. The music just stopped. That's hysterical. It was like dead ass silence. Swamp gas from Uranus. Speaking of which, before I leave you, oh Hermes, look at that. I just flipped a page to Hermes. Willow the Wisps. Willow. Do y'all remember that movie? Ooh, this is a good song too. You know. Do you remember this song, guys? Wait. The abuse. Remember this song? Who you know. So speaking of, yeah, gas, Willow the Wisps. These are strange lights, like too, like right, orbs, or they talk about right the tic tacs and stuff like that. That keeps coming up a lot too. If like the UAPs, which is the new acronym for UFOs, right? Unidentified aerial phenomenon is the new instead of unidentified flying objects, because I could just throw this cigarette across the room and if you didn't know what it was, right, it'd be an unidentified flying object. So to correct the terms and the words of the usage of the words, which is energy, right, they've now corrected that to unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, right? So again, the whole world is already onto this, right? Like the lingo that we use, right? But we're all coming into learning, like, right, what is, what isn't, how, right? Vibration creates form. Okay. They can smell your intentions. All right. So these are strange lights seen hovering over marshland. While they may be attributed to methane gas, now this has to do with golems and what have you too. Marshland, methane, Uranus, Saturn. Again, humans, golems, occult. If you know what golems are, look that up. Mud fossils, mud creatures, etc. So it's when people are using right to look up golems, do some research. I can do another video about that another day. But, okay, so so it may be attributed to methane gas. Science has not fully explained Willow the Wisps, and many believe that they are fire fairies. Mischievously leading travelers astray or to safety. Some call them corpse candles, golems, and say that they are an omen of death because someone had to do magic to bring a golem to life. It's like they made a mud something and then put right, like Prometheus put life and then put a candle, corpse candle. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Which actually, what did I open to today? John. Shit. I might have been, no, I think it was from yesterday when I was reading Genesis 37, around there. But today I opened to John. What the heck was it I opened to today? Hold on. Well, let's finish reading Will o' the Wisps. Yeah, Genesis, Joseph and Potiphar, and Joseph interprets dreams. Yesterday I was reading that. I did a video on that. Well, I did the metaphysics on it. I'm gonna do more parts of Joseph. And then today I opened my other Bible. I got guided to open it, and this is my little teeny tiny Bible writing that I can't see anything. It's so small. John 7. Jesus forgives an adulterous woman, and the Pharisees question the healing. So that's what I opened to today. John 7:47. It starts as well, John 8 to John 10:38. Verily, verily. And that all has to do with you. If you knew me, right? Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. Which of you convinceth me of sin, right? Like, which one of you got me to do sin? Which one of you gonna say that you got me to do whatever, right? Like, which one of you convinced me to, right? And like what you call sin, right? Which one of you? That's what he said, right? That's why it's like, you, right? Which, did you stand in your own truth, or did you sell out? And if you did sell out, right, you just like you gotta take a stance, and you better do your work and get your shit together. Uriel, what is that? He just keeps throwing that. He's like, he just keeps freaking spirits come through talking, and you guys come through talking. I don't even know. I'm not even talking anymore. Whatever. I can't even talk. Oh Lord. All right. Anyway, that was hysterical. All right. Verily, verily. Wait. So small. Sorry, I lost my place. Ye believe me not. Which of it convinced me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not yet? Why do ye not believe me? He that is of God heareth God's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. We were just saying, right? The candle, right? They're not of God. They're not. That's what when they don't understand, when people don't understand what the F we're talking about, that's why it's like, okay, then it's like, okay, then it's like, or they're trying to argue with you about it. It's like, it's okay. It's just then you know, right? Or they're not there yet. Don't judge. Don't think you know. Don't think you know, and don't judge them either. Just to know that they're not coming from the place that you're coming from right now, and that they're not hearing the same language that you're hearing. So they're not going to be able to interpret and understand where we're coming from. So don't waste your time and energy, right? Because that's like, that's like you becoming the rapist or the molester or the murderer. Now you're poking. Now you're expecting somebody to get something, and they're not ready yet, right? They still have more karma, or they still have more they're not there yet. Okay, so don't get too caught up in like thinking like, or thinking that they're bad and that they're right, whatever. Again, they just might not be, or whatever you're going through at that moment, that might be what is going to awaken them and bring an epiphany to them in the right, you just planted a seed. So now allow that time and space to do its thing. You know, you could recognize that someone's not. So now it's like, okay, so now you know a seed was planted there and you just got to let it be. Right. Once you recognize some, right, that. So a lot have not respected that, and they just assume everybody's lost. And it's like, oh, how come you don't, or how come, or can you, right? They want to overwhelm and overflood us with too much thinking and too much question when they're not taking into consideration that things take time and space to process, and everything has a process that it needs to go through, period, right? And we're all at different places in our state of evolution, but we are all going through it at this now time. And anybody that doesn't acknowledge that will tell you right there, that's one of them that's on the other side. Verily, verily, right? And some of them you will need to say and shut the fuck up. Right? It's like, no, like at sometimes you need to be like, yeah, well, you in it now. I'm not listening to you, and I don't got, like, I'll talk to you, yeah, later. Walk the fuck away. Or say, like, right? Say what you need. You'll know what to say when you need to say. Ask to be given the right words to say. And sometimes that might be nothing. And that's good and okay too, right? So, but sometimes you may need to say something, but then just ask to be given the right proper words. It's like, oh, or you're feeling like, I was like, right, Lord, give me the word. Please give me the words. So, or right, like, let me have the right proper, like, I need some guidance. Yeah. Always remember to ask, because when you ask, that's when you'll receive. Right? You're telling your body, you're saying to the universe that you need more information, or that you need more clarity, or you need assistance, you need help, you need guidance, you need more information. Right? Or if this is something that is right of temptation to like put in your way to tempt you in the valley in shadow of doubt, right? Ask for that shit to be removed, all obstacles to be removed from your path that, right, don't need to be there. It doesn't mean we're not, because we're going to get obstacles. God's going to give you obstacles to go through. He's going to give you the devil to confront you, and Jezebel's spirits and all this other temptation and fear to see where you're at, right? This is a test. So how you doing? How you doing? How you doing, honeys? Are you okay? It's a lot. And big hugs, because it is a lot. Mm, it really is. I know it is. Well, you're not alone. Ay, all right. What a mix of emotions that just was coming through. Mm. Yeah, you're really not alone. Like, you got spirit. You like, that's like Holy Spirit and God. Like right. Even though you're going through a dark night of the soul or a dark moment, if you are, or when you will be, you know, remember this now moment. You're not alone. You know, you're really not. I've been through some really, really deep, 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 dark times. And those darkest times, it's like that prayer, you know, the footprints prayer. Um, my Nana used to love that. And it's like, you know, right, like, right, why have you forsaken me? It's like, oh, Jesus, why have you forsaken me, God, right? And that's like a human saying, Jesus, why have you forsaken me? And he's like, my child, I've never forsaken you. When you only saw those one set of footprints, right? It was I that was carrying you. So that's important one. That's like good to remember, like that, those kind of things, right? That's what'll get you through times when it feels like you're alone walking and you're the only one that feels that way, and nobody else is going to understand what you're going through. And right, that's it's It's not true. And it doesn't always mean we need another human. It just means, and sometime we will get that. But this is where we're connecting back with Holy Spirit and the divine and etc. So, right, God, universe, etc. wants you to have faith right now and be able to go inside, understand, find yourself, because this is a test of finding self and standing in your truth. That doesn't mean I know who I am and I'm gonna be strong. It's like no, but it's like right. I don't always know who I am, and I'm messy and I'm fucked up and I need help and I'm unsure, but I know I'm not alone, and I know that I'm gonna make it through this and look it back and be stronger, wiser, and more of a divine being, or more, right, more of a being, more of, I'm gonna find more of myself for going through it. So when you look at it that way, have that perspective, that's, and but we're not always going to feel like that, you know, but that is part, that is but we are. And once you know that, then you do know that, right? But we still go through doubt. It's like, oh no, but then it's like, can I confirm? And then something else comes and brings you a synchronicity or something, and it's like, oh, okay, all right. It's like, I'm so silly to even doubt all that. Out of all the confirmation I've already got, like, how dare I even slightly doubt, right? And as soon as but then you'll get just remember to act, and you'll get reconfirmation. You'll get right, because God's never confusing, right? Truth isn't confusing. God's not confusing. Truth might be confusing. Truth is confusing. But God doesn't bring confusion. So God, that's like where truth, it's like, okay, where truth resonates, that's of God. So I might not understand it all. It may not all make sense, may not seem logical, but it's like, am I in the right spot? All right. It's like, right, we ain't in Kansas no more, Toto. So it's a little scary, but your home is where your heart is. So it's like, am I good? Am I good? Am I where I need to be? And then it's like, okay. So now it's like, all right, well, what am I needing to learn or look at or see, right, that I'm not seeing? And then start there. But first make sure, am I right where I need to be? Because this feels scary or awkward, right? So question that. And then you can start to question why. Okay, well, what am I supposed to see here? Am I relearning a lesson? Am I supposed to, see something or witness or be, sorry, my nose is itchy, or be involved with something so that I can have an experience to then, right, help others and help the collective, because it might be an experience I haven't experienced yet. So then that way, by experiencing it, then now it's like, okay, now I can help other people, because now I just understood more of what's going on in the world, in the realms, right? I got to know a little bit more of a piece of myself I didn't know before, and now I can share that with others so they know that they're not alone too. See how that works? Ain't no ego about that. It's like, right? Then we're really, really working together, guys, and we're doing it now anyhow. But then, like, once more you're on board with that thought and those ways of thinking, just that little tweak, right? Righty tighty. Oh, he's saying, I told you, righty tighty, lefty loosey. He came, that spirit before came in here like a big giant. That was like righty tighty lefty loosey. Now he just is like he was just witnessing, like he's still up over there. He was like, I told you, righty tighty lefty loosey, like all just nonchalant. That was hysterical. So anyway, whoever they're really they're funny as shit sometimes. And see too, like as an example, right, dealing with spirit that's unknown, unseen, supernatural, right? So like, right, when we're like, that came in before, like, first of all, what did the other one say? Oh, righty righto, righty righto. That was like, so like a, and that one had like an accent almost, like a righty righto, righty righto. It's like a whole nother. and like kind of like a that was like more of like a that kind of a vibration. But then right then after that, right, that other spirit came in from this other energetic field over here, and that was like a big thundercloud, but not thunder, but like a big well giant bigger energy. But and he that energy was like righty tighty lefty loosey. So when that, see, that could have been right, that could be looked at, right, a big negative giant spirit, right, coming and yelling, not yelling but adamant. He was more aggressive coming in, more barreling in, I'll say. Came rolling in like a roll of right. So but then now look, like I didn't even really know he was still there. And then whatever else I was just saying, he chimed in like if he was told you like I can't because I'm holding my phone, like his arms are, I told you righty tighty. See, like, like told you, like he's over there just filing his nails. So he came in loud, but then he's just over there chilling, and then he's just like, yeah, told you. So I'm just saying, and sorry, it's taking a little long for me to over explain, but sometimes things again can come in loud and seem very scary, but then they're just chilling, right? So sometimes we think something's bad or is mean, but they're just trying to communicate. And sometimes in order to communicate, they got to come in with a, with the force, not the farts, the force, the force or the farts, the farts or the force. Oh, Lord. All right. So Willows and a Wisp. Methane from Uranus. Fire fairies. Fire coming out your ass. Mischievously leading travelers astray or to safety. Some call them corpse candles and say that they are an omen of death. Will-o'-the-wisps are did I already read the whole thing? I don't think so. Will-o'-the-wisps are teasing spirits that bring a glimpse of the possible, of adventure, of what we may be. Sometimes the will-o'-the-wisp may remind us of the many little deaths within. Death of dreams, death of hopes, death of beliefs. Such deaths light up their own corpse candle, reminding us of what we are losing. Right, when we're letting things, it's like, oh, then we can feel bad, but it's like sometimes we know things need to change. So like there's still a candle there lit, and it's like it's still love. So that can also, yeah, see, it's not just like, oh my golems, it's that, and then also what we're reading that's beautiful, like, and the song that's on is Let It Go. Ellen Woods. From the east, let it go. That's a nice song, whatever. I never heard it, I don't think. So yeah, it's like when we have to let something go, leave something behind, leaving a light with it. It's like, right, total love, nothing but hello. Nothing but love left behind. And we're not leaving anything behind and abandoning it. Right. But sometimes it might not be healthy for us, right, to stay in, right, that job, that relationship, that environment, that pattern of being, that pattern of thinking, that way of living. Let it go. Take it slow. Super nice song. Okay. So maybe they are dreams that will not die, that have turned into ghosts to haunt us with what ifs. There's Asmodeus, living off of dreams, right? Good ideas. So not bad, right? But having all these ideas, then you can get disappointed if they don't all come into fruition because you were expecting these things to all happen, hopes, dreams, ideas, beliefs, right? So sometimes we can get disappointed, especially, right? Because when envy and jealousy take over, don't forget Set wanted to have Osiris's wife. And he blamed Nephthys, and I think Adam got blamed too, but I don't, it's like when someone takes over another's thoughts or and how do they do that if they have knowledge of the dream state and the magnetic fields? Freudian slips, right? So those that have had that knowledge, I mean, they've been doing these experiments and tests for a long time, right? MK Ultra and um, anything right in the 40s and et cetera, 1940s. And that's when, again, right, war and pharmaceuticals were introduced, antidepressants and lots of medicines. And then we started having children that were born with defects and missing limbs and clefts and et cetera. And they started, right, like pretending that like things, this is gonna, sorry, maybe triggering. So they would like, yeah, literally take babies from the mothers and tell them that they would act like they didn't survive. If something was wrong, just tell them to try again. What do they do with all those babies and stuff? And that never would have happened had they not, right? So this has been an ongoing experiment, and then acting like, right, that there's caring and like, oh, we just want things to be better. Well, no, but you're mixing foreign alien DNA with human, and that doesn't mix. Geniuses, geneticists, right? So no matter how much you want something, right? Sometimes, right? Again, like they say, with best intentions, the road to hell is paved. So although people want love and wanted to have a family, and I let me finish reading this, and then I gotta say something. Well, yeah. One of the lessons of the fire spirits is that of following our dreams, even if they lead us into danger. In that way, we really live rather than simply just existing. Oh, and the next one's the gin. I'm going to come back and do a video on the gin, though. I'm not going to do that now because I'm about to run out of battery. But yeah, getting into like, yeah, like said again, the Queen Elizabeth thing, right? Pornography, slavery, human trafficking, drug trafficking, etc. Right? Sports ring, fighting, the gladiators, again, this is the slavery. Credit was invented after money, right, with the cattle, the farmers, right? And blah, 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 blah. Cattle represented in the Bible as females, right? The word vaccine means cow, etymology, look it up. So this is very biblical. And so when, again, men have been buying and selling and raping women and children for so long and trying to pick another bitch and like get a whole night, having a side bitch and a harem and a cuckold of cocklings and whatever, right? What are we called? Hot wives, whatever, jingle jingle, right? And no offense, but like when you're just trying to breed, I heard a girl earlier, like I was watching a video earlier. So this is the kind of stuff that's upsetting because it's like this is why, like, again, well, like I was stating before with the Jim Morrison song, the Doors song, when it's like, Father, I want to kill you, and Mother, I want to. So they want to kill the father and fuck the mother. And then it's the opposite, right? The same thing on the other side. The daughter sleeps with the father. And, right, there's a lot that goes into that, and this goes into, right, like mandingo and again, slavery and what have you, and human breeding. So this is, right, breeding like animals, so way different thing. And I'm just like, You call me ignorant, and I'm not judging, and I'm not like, but at the same time, y'all, like, yeah, if you feel in your heart that you're, then hey, I'm, yeah. But when I'm aware that there's like other little, I'm gonna say it, sorry, little bitches running around like with, right, say my color skin and whatever, and like giving us all a bad name of like, and like it's like, hey, there's a song by NoFX, "Don't Call Me White," don't call me white, and white's not a color. But when bitches are running around trying to pretend that they're something that they're not, and they're just trying to extend their, right, they, because like what was the video I was watching earlier, they're like a candle that's going to blow out. So in order to have anything survive past them, they would have to have, right, sex with a said god in order to, right, like, this is what they have, a seed that has incorporated, right, the god gene, so that they think that their bloodline will continue or whatever. But that's not how it, that's why they're, right, the sin of Eve. So that's a Eve right there, as far as that part goes. And I don't know why they're having me talk about this right now, but because it's obviously, yeah, it's something that needs to be brought up and attended to. And when a lot of our like black men and what have you that are beautiful and they are gods have been molested, raped, and used for slavery, which is partially like they put themselves in that position to allow, right, like the like, again, if like there's a lot of different species here, so again, don't like get all like your panties in a bunch, please, about what I'm talking about. And if you are, then I hope you enjoyed the video up until this point, and definitely, maybe come check me out another time, because this is pretty deep and very triggering, I'm very aware, so you might want to come back if this is too much. But so think of like how a woman or a child is, right? Say being raped or molested, and how hard it is for us to, right? Where do we go to talk to anybody, or who's going to believe us? Or when you're in a relationship, it's like, well, then did you allow it, or should you have done or said something different to not let that happen, and etc. So this is a little different, and but it's not. It's also the same. So when, like, and say, just to give you a picture in your head, I think this is a movie, Rosewood. I think it's Rosewood that shows it good. That's a good example, anyhow, one of them. And but it's like, yeah, the daughter of like the slave, the owner, the fucking fat white boss hog man, right? The owner of the plantation that married his cousin. His daughter, right, tells like the men, right, the slaves that work around the house, because they want the big muscular, right, sweaty black man, right, because it's attractive. So we're very aware of what's attractive. So, but when they become, right, just like their father of lies, that other guy, that guy, right, them bitches say, you gonna do it. Ew. I don't even, this is difficult. You gonna do it, or I'm gonna say it's rape. Right. So, and this is really important that we start to talk about this stuff, honestly, guys, because what that does to somebody, especially a man, where the fuck, right? To a woman, a man, a child, anybody, nobody desires to be, but is somebody that's already been repressed, and then say now there's this right thing, this thing, I'm gonna call her a thing presently, because until you learn to have some respect for yourself, that's what you are. So when somebody does something like that and puts somebody else in a position, right, then now it can also put the other person in right now. The other person's been oppressed, but now they're in a position of, right, feeling a little excited. First of all, sex feels good, right? Physical, human, right? Like bodies touching, sex, intercourse, right? But it can also be very confusing if someone's forcing you to do it. And that's also, this is part of this conversation. Something that could maybe feel good, but is wrong. So there's many levels to that. And there's a lot of damage that it's done to the consciousness of humanity in the many different ways that that's played out, right? So as hard as it is for a woman to say something, a man that's been oppressed and then has been, right, like, you're gonna do it or I'm gonna say it's rape. So then now they're dealing with something that feels good. It's also exciting because right after, at first they're gonna feel scared and not sure, but then after, then now they know it feels good and it's like sneaky and exciting and fun because they get to do something that feels good. They're kind of getting to stick it to the man, right? Like, haha, boss, in a sense, because now they know they're kind of getting away with it. So it's like now it's a little like it gives them a little, right? And etc. So again, that's how we have, right? Which on some levels, I guess if we want to look at it in a positive manner, I guess that's maybe better than the plantation slave driver that's right fucking his own family, his own cousin, the ancestral, right, like the keeping the bloodlines in the bloodlines and the whatever all that is. um I'm not gonna say better or worse, but yeah, I don't know. I don't, so there's a lot of things, and that being included, that need a lot of help. So it's going to take some time for those individuals to go through what they need to go through mentally, spiritually, and emotionally to come out of, right, first of all, their sex addictions, because it's a sex addiction, and which is, sex is sacred energy exchange. So when something is going against, right, like, that's not sacred. So although it may feel good and you're doing the same thing that occurs with sacred exchange, right, like when you're with, right, like right now we're having sex, a sacred energy exchange, even though, because this is sacred, I'm not expecting anything from you, I'm just being very from the heart. That's a sacred energy exchange, right? I give freely and I know what I need and what will come to me, right? So it's like that. That's sexual, that's sacred energy exchange. Then, right, with physical sex, right, is also, right, like when we're with others, there we're exchanging waters, chemistry, right, spirit, grids. You're downloading each other, right? You're that's why they say then you're married, right? So though, you know, it's deep, right? The harm that's been done to all of us throughout time and space due to, right, jealousy, envy, and all of that that which is what we're dealing with right now still. This is what we're coming out of, right? Like, so it's not like those things happened so way far back then and they're not occurring now. No, they're still happening right now. It's just in a more modernized manner, right? Like, what's a football team? Right? That's just a modernized gladiator. Right? Watch the movie Spartacus. And definitely watch like Rosewood. I mean, it's like, so because it's important to, like, the more information and knowledge we have, It's like we need to be there for one another. And again, like I was just saying, how do people like that say, right? Like, how hard is it for then a man to say, right? I've been taken advantage of by not even a woman, a girl, right? And then also, right, the mother's on top of it, right? The daughter and the mother. So it's like, right, that it's or whoever, right? Because that's like the whole, yeah. There's a whole thing that comes with that, right? So when people are have been, I don't like to say, but that sick in the head for so long that's what's been going on for so long. That needs to be addressed. That can't just keep we can't just keep pretending that's the same as, and we're all just like, oh yeah, what, it's like, no, 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 that's not the same, and that shit needs to be addressed, and people need to be able to heal, you know the false narratives due to the jealousy and the envy and the plotting that's gone on and that's still going on. What else do we call that besides, again, rape and disgusting? It's disgust there's disgusting. It's an abomination, but and it really is, truly, truly. Um, the most part of that's an abomination about it is that people aren't willing to address it. People want to keep pretending and acting like things don't matter and that it's not happening. Right? If somebody could just take a pill, or get a bill, or just keep pretend, right? Keep getting older. Just keep, like, oh, that shouldn't bother you anymore, or that happened so far long ago. Like, oh, that still bothers you, or like, or people don't even know. People are just again trying to deal with their lives, but that's still an inner, those are scars that they're carrying around, or they have sexual addictions or alcoholic addictions or drug addictions or addictions to working too much, working out too much, feeling that they have to be XYZ, or that all their worth is ABC, right? Due to all these things, right? And that's me, all of us, me too, right? We're all going like in level, right? We're all going through different things on different levels like that we need to address. We have to address. It's like it's not optional anymore. We can't just keep pretending. Oh, like, let's just get a shot. Let's just go take a pill. Well, now we can just go back to normal. Well, they'll just raise the prices and then we'll just have this extra thing, but it'll be okay. Like, ew. Do you hear how sick that sounds? I mean, it's very disheartening, honestly, to like, well, whatever. It is what it is. Nah, it just is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. But anyhow, I know there's a lot of us that are willing to take a look at all these, right, dark things that may not be very nice to look at, but they need to be addressed and looked at, and they need to be loved, and people need to know that they're not alone, and that they do have a place that's safe, that isn't either expecting that of them, that we don't look at them that way, and that ain't fucking okay, right? That's been done to us too. So it's like, yeah, no, that ain't okay. That's why there's a difference between people that are still running around trying to maneuver shit and act as if and try to go back to a certain, or put on that facade, or again, act all aloof, and make like they're your friend, or make like they're right, they have your best interest at heart, or like that they would never do something like that to you. But they either just pop around when, and that doesn't, because like right now is the time of isolation too, so like don't take that with a grain of salt with what I'm saying, because a lot of us, like, I never call anybody or pop around, so it's like, yeah, you could say that about me at any time, really. But because I just kind of go with the flow. But you know what I'm saying? People, when they want something or they're searching or hunting for something, right? They come like a slimy little snake, or then they pop up. It's like, oh, like a little bird, like, oh, did you hear? Did. Right? There's a difference. You can kind of, right? You could smell their intention when they got a little something up their sleeve, or, right? Questions are being asked, and it's like, well, why are you asking me that, right? It's like, what's the intention? Or someone, right, else is putting their extra 2 cents in, kind of trying to drive your vehicle and tell you what you should or shouldn't do, or jumps in and puts you on the spot real quick, and then is like, right, like, they expect it, and then they kind of apologize after that, passive aggressive, right? Like, oh, you don't mind, do you? Like, after they just, right, right, came and ate food off your plate, so to speak, right? It's like they just, like, oh, you didn't mind, right, that I just like took that sandwich off your plate and took the first bite before you even took a bite of your sandwich, right? It's okay, right? As they're chewing, and you want to slap them in their mouth while they're chewing your first bite of your sandwich that you didn't even take a bite of, stuff like that. But that was just a stupid example, but you know what I mean. All right, I think, speaking of plates, I need something to eat. I have some broccoli rabe I am going to munch on, and what else am I going to eat? I don't know yet, but I have some broccoli rabe, so I'm gonna, like, Popeye, get my greens in. And here, let's pull an animal card before we venture, before I bid you bibbity bobbity boo. 30606. What time is it? Almost 8. Let's see. Maybe bear with me. She said I could see you. You can't see me though. You can't see me though. I'm just giving animal cards a shuffle. I was looking for blue. I got jumpers already. I got jumpy jumpers. Got 3 that jumped out. What we got? Stag spirit. Take the lead, right? That's like what we were just saying, right? It's like stand in your own truth. That's strong. Stag, the white stag, speaking of mandingos. I mean, that's also part of that's like the white stag, the mandingo, the big bull, the right. It's like, shameless. All right. Also, armadillo spirit. Set healthy boundaries. So yeah, it's like, right, this is a gate, like, where we're starting to, like, we were just reading about the will-o'-the-wisps too. It's like, because that also is kind of like the stag, and like, right, bringing your fantasy into your reality. And it's like some of us don't give ourselves permission to go there either, because we've been so, like, on the same, again, in mom world, or in a straight and narrow, right? And a mom had to be a teacher, had to do, it's like, right, well, but what do you want? What do you like to eat? I don't know. I've been feeding my kids, eating, right, the leftover cold food that's on the rest of their plates while I'm standing up scraping their plates about to wash them before I got to get them in bed. So I have no idea what I'd like to eat. Like, right? When have you got, what would you like to wear? Like, right? It's like, when have you felt good about what, like, after being mom for so long, what do you know what you like to wear or what you look good in? Do you even feel good in clothes or feel sexy? It's like you feel like a mom for so long. And especially if gone through, right, like, say, being cheated on or what have you. Again, things like that have, right, they have effect on our consciousness and us as a being. So then, right, and whether, no matter what you go through being a mom, it's like your body changes, right? You feel good at first, and it's like, right, but then it's like, I don't feel good anymore, I don't, my body's changing, or, right, then you feel not good after. You can maybe not feel sexy because now you're a mom, so it's confusing. It's like, am I still supposed to even feel sexy, or am I supposed to just be a mom? Again, it's that confusing thing, like we were just talking about. This isn't the same, but it's again just another mixture of confusion as far as like something that feels good but is bad, right? Because then that can, right, it can, like we were just talking about, like with the slavery stuff and the mandingo and the, right, the women, whether you're going to do it or I must say is rape, right? So eventually that becomes an exciting, right, adventure, right? That's like voyeurism. How did that start? Right? It's like things started somewhere, right? And things like this have been going on for a long time, but like, so, but it's like taking, like, there's a reason why human species, the human race is so sick right now, right? It's, right, been flooded with alcohol for how long? Been told, right? Like kids are given porno mags at how old and what age? You know, we're all like, how many people are separated from their families? How many people grew up without a father? Right? I mean, there's so many different like things that like, so it's not like bad, 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 but it's like, whoa, confused, 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 chill. Pause button, right? Like, can we pause? Because if we don't pause and take a look at things, it's like, great, Jack and Jill went up the hill. Well, they haven't stopped falling since then, right? It's like, yo, maybe this is why now we got to make it flat earth. That's it. Flattening the hill. Making it a straight line. Straight timeline time. Oh, goodness. All right. Coyote spirit. Trust in divine detours. That's funny, as I just said. Turning the hill into a flatland. So maybe something, maybe some to that. Shit just don't come out this mouth for no reason. I never know what the hell I'm saying sometimes, but eventually it means something. All right. So at the bottom of the deck, we have Swan Spirit. Time for a deep dive. And you know, that's a good one too, right? The story of the black swan or the ugly duckling. And that's like what we're coming out of, whether we're coming from, right, star system extraterrestrial or from, right, black, white, right, human. We all feel, right, out of place, not accepted, not good enough, not like the others, right? No matter which way we came from, it's like, well, I don't feel, how come I don't have what they have, or how come they can do that and I can't? How come, you know, we're like, wait. I never, like, I never felt that way. How come they get to have that and I don't? How come, does that make me weird? Right? It's like, so we're like, we all feel like that, right? Like the odd man out, you know? So that's why it's so important. It's like, right, if I don't know that part of myself, but that's the life that you've lived, then like I would much rather hang out and talk with you so that I can like learn and understand your experience personally, where you came from and how you experienced what you experienced and what you had to go through, instead of just being handed secondhand thrift shop information. And then I'm like, huh? What? Huh? Right? And then I'm just left with a feeling and a thought that, and then nobody's ever willing to like, right? It's like, it's like, no, I want to, right? I don't want us all to feel these ways. Even if we're uncomfortable sitting the fuck down talking with each other, I would much rather be uncomfortable sitting down and talking with you and then feeling less uncomfortable because we took the time to sit down and talk about what makes us feel uncomfortable. right? That's not fucking rocket science. It's just not comfortable, right? The rocket science part is when we allow ourselves to have a nuclear atomic reaction and we are not willing to take a look at why or even acknowledge that that's what's going on in our within us all the time, right? People are like holding on to all these negative feelings and thoughts. It's like, okay, ticking walking time bomb. You want to take a look at that, or you want to go do a shot, or you want to go get a shot, or what you want to take a shot at me because you don't like what I'm saying? What? Which one? Yay. Getting jumpers. Oh, canary. Sing your own song. And okay, now we got a whole bunch, right? We got wolf, skunk, squirrel, and elephant. Wolf, turn knowledge into wisdom. I'm glad that came up because the title I did to the video earlier, was that today or yesterday? And yeah, it was turned out. I pulled this card, and when I realized after I was done with the video, I was like, oh, I never even talked about the wolf. But the wolf pack was all over the reading. It was wolf pack energy yesterday. Oh, that was it. Yeah, and the thumbnail was a wolf pack, like a protectors. So that's the other thing, right? It's like always know that's an ancient native Navajo tale with the wolves, right? It's like with the yin and the yang. We always have a positive and a negative, right? Wolf by our side, a white and a black, whichever one you choose to make positive or negative or whatever. They could flip flop because that's what black and white do, right? But you have to feed both. If you feed the only one, the positive one all the time, and you're afraid of the negative one, then the negative one's going to get really nasty, right? But if you ignore the positive one, which is generally what happens, right? The positive will get ignored because they're so quiet or calm, like they don't really care. They don't need that much. So a lot of time the positive one will get ignored. And then the negative one will get overfed. And then all of a sudden, now you got a demonic monster on your hands. But it's your own demonic monster. As like with Noah and Ham kept Ham was with Tubal Cain on the ark, if you're familiar with that story. And Tubal Cain, right, operates on will. God gave us will to use and take dominion. Use your will. Her. Yeah. And he was even eating the animals in the ark, right, that were being transported, right? So, and taught Ham that, right? But Ham already had a little of that gene in him, right? It was already like, and Ham got upset because he thought, right, God and Noah were trying to deprive him of having, right, a woman, like if he was going to be set up with his brother. It's like, no, motherfucker, you just needed to learn the word patience and have faith. And then, but, but, there's an importance to that lesson too, right? That, right? Skunk spirit. Woo! Know your worth. It went all the way, like took a road trip. Went all the way over there. Elephant spirit. Learn from the past. And I love elephants. Remember, elephants never forget. And squirrel spirit. Believe in yourself. Well, those are all great messages. Believe in yourself. Learn from the past. Know your worth. And sing your own song. And that's a good, I am going to go now. I am going to go now. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Put your phone. and turn knowledge into wisdom. Tend to the small things. And that means you, those little things that are going on inside of you, right? Sometimes we feel like we have to do so much and otherwise we're going to disappoint everybody. We don't know how to say no. We carry that guilt. Now we made somebody upset. Trust me, I know those are the things I have to deal with. And like, still, I've struggled, right? It's like, but then they're going to be mad at me and I don't want to make them think, and I don't want that one to think this about me because then they're going to, I'm more worried about like, right, your feelings than I am my own. But it's like, right, because I could take it or because it doesn't really bother me or da 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 da, right? So it's like, I've always done that kind of thing, if you can relate. So, but that also doesn't do us any service, right? It's like only for so long can we, right, say be a people pleaser or help other people until that all our energy is sucked, right? So learning how to say no and not feel guilty and know our self-worth, right? Even though people can say like, right, like if we have an ego. People don't really say that to me, but some that don't really know me do. um, or what have you. Because like or assholes, because assholes always want to be right and they have a whole different agenda and incentive. So really those are the only ones that say that shit. I just tolerate them. But again, see, like I'm talking about it because it makes me feel bad or defensive sometimes. And it's like, like, am I coming? Because I always question myself. It's like, am I coming from that place? I don't want to try, but I can definitely appear that way. And then that gets into natal charts too, because I'm an Aquarian moon, but I'm a Taurus Gemini cusp sun sign, but I'm a Sag rising. So inside, I'm all like smart and extraterrestrial and like good and like all these like thoughts go on inside and I'm all deep and it's like, oh, and so like yo, and it's like smooth. But then my Taurus, like Gemini mind is like real quick and like double agent and like I'm like both sides and I'm like, I can see that and I also see the other side too. And it's like, and then so I'm very and then over analytic, that's the Taurus in me, and then Sag, so that's my ego, that part, right? My identifier, the way my mind works, the way my mental space works. But my moon, my inner side is in Aquarian, all right, and then my rising sign, I'm a Sag. So that your rising sign or your ascending sign is how other people see you. So other people, when I learned that, I'm like, that's why, because it's like all back in the day, I would read my horoscope, like Taurus and whatever, and then sometimes I'd read Gemini too, because I'm like close to and I'm like, yeah, but no, I don't get. I'm like, sometimes, but that's not really how I feel inside. It never really linked. It didn't ever really click. It was like kind of, but yeah, it's like I could make it work if I wanted to, like make it, but not never really felt right. So then later in life, as I learned about our natal charts a little more in depth, and I'm still no like expert at reading them. I just, but I'm not an astrologist. But I can semi, like I can like right, like I can read it. I can read it, but I can semi read it. Anyway, so I once I learned that, yeah, that your moon is how you feel inside. Your sun sign, our birthday, is like our physical born day, right? So that's our ego, our sun sign, how like our identifier. It's like your ID, what you like, what you don't like. Also like if you've been hurt, that's the ego is the devil. So like that's like, no, I'm not. Are you okay? I'm fine, right? The devil lies to protect the vulnerability of the Christ child inside. So where we feel vulnerable, right? That's like, I'm good, I'm fine, whatever, did it. That's right. Also that's ego. So ego's there to protect us too, right? So devil's not always like bad. Devil's again there to protect whatever another human or it has harmed, right? So it's gonna protect Mother Nature and her babies from whatever human has caused imbalance in.
Just to be real clear, because that's important to acknowledge too. Sometimes it's like, oh, they're whatever. Okay, but wait, whoa. Something happened that they're whatever. There's something that's being blocked there because there's a pain, there's a splinter, right? There's a boo-boo there. So don't call them bad. What happened to them that's going on? Something happened. See, that's a way different way to look at things than like, right, like just judging and calling somebody a name and saying that right, we think that whatever. It's like, hold on a minute. Something had to happen. And that doesn't mean, oh, you have to figure it out and now you're the one, right? Like do. But no, but acknowledging that and having that awareness makes things like 40-50% lighter than thinking, right? Like, oh, they're da 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 and what da da. Our thoughts and stuff, right, are vibrations, so they form things. So it is important that we acknowledge just that. Just acknowledging that makes things a lot lighter for everybody. So anyhow, but then the moon sign is how you feel inside, right? So it's like, right, like at nighttime, you get home, you take your shoes off. It's like, oh, I just want to relax and, right, maybe have a glass of wine, watch a movie, whatever makes you feel, whatever those thoughts are that you think are relaxing, right? Like read a book, be cozy, take my shoes off, be in, sweatpants and comfy socks, whatever. Have a bath. That's our moon sign, the divine feminine, right? Coming into the divine feminine. Like, I'm home, mom. And then our rising sign or ascending sign is how other people see us. So, like I said, when I found that out, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. So then when I like look up your natal chart, there's, like Cafe Astrology, I think .com is a free one. And if you have your time and your place of birth and your name, you just pop it up in there and like it'll pull your whole chart and it shows you what houses, all your planets are in and and it gives you an actually in-depth, pretty decent. I was right on. Anyone I've done with that and what have you, because I do charts. It's just I don't say like I know how to read a chart. I'm like I said, I don't call or label myself anything. So I'll never say like and if I do, it's like I do these things, but I'm not a like don't, that's why it's like don't please if you're ever don't yeah, I don't like to label or call myself anything because I'm not. I dabble in lots of little things when they get presented to me energetically, and then I get the understanding I need. Some things more in depth than others, understanding, overstanding, right? So I have an awareness and an understanding and comprehension of these things, but I wouldn't call myself I am that. That's what I do. I do that for people. I am one or of whatever, right? Like that's I don't like that. Because depending on every moment in time, everything's going to be different. If I hold myself down to saying I'm something, then right then isn't that what I have to be? Then in a sense, right? Then people are going to expect that of me. Then I'm going to have a certain title to go by, right? So whether that's like mother or wherever you are as a job, what you're doing as a job, you're a chef, you're a bartender, you're whatever it is you do for, right? It's like, aren't you doing that? That's what you do, right? You're an office manager, right? I thought you're an office manager, and then you decided to maybe do something creative, right? Now you didn't want to be an office manager anymore, so you decided to get a job using more of your creative aspects, right? You remembered something that you used to like to do as a child, so maybe you're starting to make jewelry. You started messing around and getting like crystals and beads and like started right during COVID messing around and we're like, you know what? I don't want to work in the office anymore. I decided I remember my childhood passion and I want to write a fucking kids book and I'm gonna make jewelry and I'm gonna have a website and I'm gonna write like that's what's up right now. Right? Remembering who we are and what we like to do, right? You want to write songs, write poems, make music, right? Make candles, go for a walk. How often are we able to do that when we get up, go to work, get paid every week to just barely make it most of our money has to go to gas in order to get to work and back, pay the insurance and the freaking car payments or the freaking red, whatever has to get paid. But how often do you get to actually enjoy living the life that you're living, working the job that you're working to get paid so that you can actually, right, have a life? And some people are living it up like crazy, like, right? But again, most of them, what are they living off of? They're either living off of people that have passed away's money that is just about to run out, or they're living off of, right, the credit card system and etc. That, again, is backed by what? It's only by it's gambling, it's debt, it's dead debt. That's why people don't know what to do, because like, well, if we don't, money makes the world go. If we didn't have that, then what do we do? Well, you have to have a job. You have to make money. How are you going to work? How are you going to have groceries? How are you going to get anywhere? Well, that's a good question. But instead of like yelling at me and asking me that stuff all snotty, like, again, you want to sit down and talk about it? Like, should we go over like what's been going on up until this now point in time and see how the system's been running and what it entails and what's involved and how things were invented and like what the laws are and what they actually mean? And that doesn't, like, sometimes that can seem so elaborate and like, oh my gosh, we're never gonna, but it's like, how much we've all been doing all this time. So it actually is pretty simple when we're just willing to be where we need to be in our now present moment. And then we end up showing up right where we need to at the right moment in time, or right things start to align. And then we start to ride that wave. And before we know it, see, now we're riding and driving our Vamana. Like, that's the right ancient in like Hinduism and what have you. Now we start to upgrade, and before you know it, you got your cosmic license and you didn't even know it. Or your galactic license, right? It's like now you can travel through space and time instead of yelling at me or the next one of us asking us how we're going to do it without all this stuff that the government and that we're all supposed to be stuck onto that fishing line. Remember, Jesus is a fisher of men. Bada bing, bada boom. Right? Don't get hooked on the line. Oh, as I just picked up this other card. There it is, the whale's tail. Trust the great mystery. All right, I've babbled your ear off enough. I love y'all. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Yeah, so much for a quick Fairy Friday, but I'm happy. I haven't really done a video in the last week or two too much anyhow. I think I did a couple yesterday, the day before, but it's been sparse because so much has been going on. But and I've just been guided to not, be up on here. It is what it is. So I will see you the next. Nothing but love and smooth sailing. And remember, when the waves do get rocky, because they are gonna, you're not alone. And just to ride the storm out. And remember to ask for clarity or ask for guidance or just breathe. Remember, you have control of that in your moment when you're feeling overwhelmed or, right, you're getting hit with maybe some like past life regression shit or some, right, emotional upheaval and some like, right, some mental things are coming in, or it could be, right, like, again, you could be feeling like you're communicating with, again, which you, right, may very well be angels, demons, star systems, extraterrestrials, ancestors, right? It's like, so again, fairy, right? Trolls, the shadow realm, there's like the interdimensionals, there's so many different like so just don't try to, like, I just threw a whole bunch of like say names out there, but don't try to name and label them so much. And if when you do, don't worry so much about the name. Like, which one am I talking to? And am I talking to this? And da 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 da. And da. Don't do that. It'll ask if you're confused or if it feels like, it's like, right, but don't start asking spirits like this gets tricky. The demon, like the not demonic, but like the trickster ones. Like if you're, it's like, oh, are you Jesus? Are you Archangel Michael? Are you Archangel Metatron? If you start asking, they, yeah, yeah, they'll, yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh. So don't do that, because you'll rock yourself to sleep and you'll end up in a not good place. Don't do that. I'm giving you fair warning. Don't do that. Don't call, don't call on them, don't summon them, don't do that. That's a whole different thing. Don't do that. That's witchcraft, and that's like different. That's like you're summoning shit and praying to shit and pulling it up. That's necromancy. You're pulling things up from the dead. You're not allowing it to communicate with you and just be as it is, right? It's like, right? It's like I'm metaphysical mama. I'm Sarah. I'm a mom. I've been many things, like as far as jobs go in my life. So I've carried, right, different titles as far as what I've done. So again, it's like I'm not any of those specific things, right? So a lot of, I could be called many, right? Like, and I would answer to that, right? Like, yeah, uh-huh. Right? So we have many different names naturally. So don't get too caught up with who and what you're talking to, and what if you're talking with ancestors, and you'll know, like, again, just kind of let it flow. It's like, oh, don't try to hold anything too tight or name or label it or put it into like a picture frame. Don't try to freeze frame anything, label it, hold it hostage. Then you're holding it hostage, so to speak. Spirits don't like that. If you watch any supernatural stuff too and all that, when they're doing, right, like what are they using? Like electromagnetic, right, frequency finders, and sometimes like photo, I don't see. But most of the time, did my fucking picture just flash when I just did that? Look like my freaking thing just like blinked. That was weird. Anyway, so but yeah, when stuff like that, oh my god, I lost my, yeah, electromagnetic stuff and all that. The yeah, spirits don't like, a lot of that don't like to, yeah, could be on camera or caught like that, because you're catching their essence and freezing it. You're holding a piece of them then in it's like me, right, like it's you're that holding the energy, that's like holding, yeah, that's holding, yeah, they're having, yeah, yeah, they don't like that, they don't like that. So just a fair warning, people that do like, yeah, seances, and I remember Beetlejuice, and they had to have the items of the, right, the couple, and they're like, oh, whatever, they won't know anyway, they're already dead. Like, okay, human. All right. Spider and koi fish. Keep saying I'm gonna go, and it's like, all right, and then I got to talk about something crazy, and then here we go again. So all right, and then I'm really going. Spider spirit, make your dreams real, and koi fish spirit. There is always enough, and that's what's up. And yeah, when you co-create with spirit and allow, right, spirits to flow and fly, right, Turtle spirit, that's a very ancient, right? Like the whole earth is floating on top of the turtle shell, turtle island. Slow and steady wins the race. And on that note, I will see you next time.